Tradoon. Tradoon. I present to you the top 10 weirdest looking dinosaurs. I want to state the obvious and tell you that I'm going to be butchering the names of these dinosaurs.
In
at number 8, we have the Tradoon.
In 1856, the fossilized teeth of a small dinosaur were discovered in Montana. The species was aptly named Troodon, which means wounding teeth.
Tradoon.
When evolution passed out the stealth gene, Troodons lucked out.
Tradoon.
This drawer contains almost all of the North American identified specimens of Troodon.
Troodon was every inch the predator, with razor-sharp serrated teeth and large, hook-like claws. Troodon probably fed on our ancestors, the early mammals. Troodon may have posed a greater threat to mammals than any other predator on Earth. The Troodon was suddenly cut down in its prime.
Tradoon.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Paleontologizing. It's good to have you here. Today is Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024. We're going to do a fossil news stream today, so I hope you are ready for that. We've got several new genera, new species of dinosaurs just described. We're going to talk about them today, so I hope you're ready for that. If anybody's here for the very first time, then allow me to introduce myself real quick. My name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist, and I'm here on Twitch trying to do some good old-fashioned science outreach. Talking about fossils, talking about the history of life on Earth, trying to show you how paleontology works. You know, trying to peel back the curtain to give you an inside peek into fossil science. As a dinosaur paleontologist, I study dinosaurs, I publish on dinosaurs in the scientific literature, and I dig up dinosaurs during the summer. In less than 2 months now, I'm going to be out there in the field again, broadcasting from the Badlands of Wyoming, showing you, not just telling you, but showing you what it's like to dig up dinosaurs in the field. Very excited about that. Oh yeah. It's gonna be a good stream today. Pretty low key, pretty casual. We're gonna go over some new papers that I'm excited about. We've got at least one new sauropod. We've got a new stegosaur, and we might even go into some of the other new dinosaurs that we've missed from the past couple months as well. But anyway, let me scroll through chat here and see who's here already. I started a little bit early today. Trying to get in the habit of doing that when I can. Oh yeah. Let's see who's here. Kodali 2010 was first today. How are you doing, Kodali? Welcome. I hope you're having a good day. It's good to see you. Happy Tuesday. Matt M33, what's shaking with you? Always good to see you here bright and early. I hope you're having a good day too. Cyant Streams, howdy, Balint. It's good to see you also. I need to find some papers for us to discuss tomorrow. Excited about that as well. That's gonna be good. Looking forward to our crossover again, as always. Rachel Darling Endeavors, what's shaking with you? It's good to see you also. Hope you're having a good one. Mr. Mushroom 2104. Hey to you too. Welcome. Fall Machine, what's shaking with you, Fall Machine? Good to see you. Baja Spencer, hello to you. I hope you're doing well. She Geek, welcome back and happy Tuesday to you also. Sam Wasn't It, welcome back to you. Sam Wasn't It and family. It's good to have the Sam Wasn't It clan here. Welcome to Paleontologizing. Yeah, good. Our other camera is working too. Excellent. Well, it's not focusing in the way it should.
Utah raptor is the most dangerous dinosaur around.
Hey folks, wanted to drop in for my scheduled tri-monthly visit.
Lil Uzi Nate, I appreciate that. Thank you for the 33 months, by the way. It is excellent. And Mama M Media. Listen to that hot new sound. Mama M Media, thank you for the raid. How did your stream go? I hope it was real good.
Mama
Welcome back.
Media has a new sound for their 3 listeners.
Good stuff. Sloppy Salamander, how are you doing, Salamander? Welcome back. I hope your Tuesday is off to a good start. It's good to have you here, as always. Alexander Morrison, greetings to you too. Welcome back. Frozen Yak, how are you doing? Hello. And Smorphosaurus, how are you doing, Smorph? I'm glad you're here. Hope your day's going well. Scrolling down, MS Coggins, hello. I hope things are good in your part of the world, MS Coggins. Harry says, I've never really liked ice cream. Interesting, Harry. Well, welcome, very much. Jody Fish, Tribune to you too. It's good to see you. Daisy Jones, how are things going on your end? Welcome back, Daisy Jones. Hello. And Danish Viking, I'm glad you could make it today. It's good to see you here in the chat. Scrolling. Trying to catch everybody. Claire Burr, how are you doing, Claire? Welcome. I hope everything's going well with you, Claire. It's good to see you. Paleo Ken, welcome back. Are you counting down the days to the field season like I am? It's good to see you, Ken. And Squall Adv, how are you doing? What emote is that? Clapping like that. EJSA clap? Oh, EJSA, they're the, we've got the NASA logo, play on the NASA logo, right? I don't think I've ever seen any of their streams, but they're usually pretty high in the rankings for science and technology, I think. Cool. It's good to have you here, Squall Adv. Hello. And how many of them were described yesterday? No Corythosaurians, Daisy Jones? We've got a new stegosaur and a new sauropod from Uruguay. And then we've got another new paper about the Morrison Formation that I've done a little bit of work in before. In the Morrison Formation, not in this paper. But talking about the ecology of the Morrison Formation and kind of like changing diversity of different groups over time. Oh, and hello, sweetie pie. How are you doing? Well. Fancy meeting you here, sweetie pie. How are you doing? Man, it was a mini pie stream yesterday. There was no sweetie pie on yesterday's stream. But now we have sweetie pie. The first cat of the day. Yeah. What are you thinking, sweetie? What's new? What's going on? Chris TS, I hope you're doing well too. It's good to see you. Lordy, how are you doing, Lordy? Welcome. Sweetie is waving hello as well with her tail. Let's see, scrolling. Trooper 2112 says, yeehaw! Claro que sí, Trooper. It's good to have you here. Welcome back. And Semicolon says, hi, hope you're all having an amazing Tuesday. I'm having a pretty good one, Semicolons. Yeah, I just got back from the museum a little while ago. Saw some interesting talks. Got to catch up with some folks at the Museum of Paleontology in Berkeley. It was good. Yeah. Sandwich Nom Nom, how are you doing? Welcome back. It's good to see you here. And Scrap Metal Dragon says, I'm back today as well. Is that a furry dinosaur butt I see? It's not. No, this is a cat. Your Honor, I am a cat. Sweetie pie. You're chewing on my cycat. It's a good thing that's a plastic cycat. Because, yeah, a real cycat would be pretty poisonous to you, sweetie. Yeah, Majestic Biscuit, how are you doing? Wow, are you doing some herbivory, sweetie pie? Yeah? You look over your shoulder? You doing some herbivory? Yeah. Doing some browsing? Never a dull moment here with the cats around. Except when they're asleep, which is most of the time. Oh, huh, sweetie pie. Huh. Yeah. Could I interest you in... Could I interest you in a treat? Yeah? Could I tempt you? Well, let's see if we can make that happen, huh? Oh, you know that sound. Yeah. And there you go, Lordy. Yeah. Here we go. Over here. Follow the sound. There you go. Good stuff. Yeah. And there you go, Jody Fish. Yeah, she could be funny like that sometimes. There you go. Did you get it, sweetie pie? Did you get it? Yeah. There you go. There you go. Yeah. Oh, the camera loves you, sweetie pie. Can I brush you a little bit? Let's get the brush. I was brushing Mini Pie yesterday. Or was it Moon Pie? I forget. I was brushing somebody. It was Moon Pie. She wasn't really having it. Look at all that. My goodness. Could make a toupee. Oh, no. Cats, you know? You know? Yeah. Anyway, Sanaton Setba, how are you doing? Welcome back to Paleontologizing. Good to have you here. I'm glad you could make it. You know what? Before I forget, why don't we start off with a little game of Metazua? I'm not being nearly as stringent about doing these every day anymore, but it's a nice little warm-up. Let's go ahead and jump into that, shall we? If you've never seen this before, this is an animal guessing game. It's a lot like Wordle, except rather than guessing the mystery word of the day, you're guessing what the mystery animal of the day is, and you use kind of the phylogenetic tree, an evolutionary family tree, to figure it out. And so, Jody Fish says hedgehogs are a placental mammal, but they're part of Insectivora nowadays. It's not necessarily the best place to start if we're going to start with a mammal. Majestic Biscuit says otter. We did otter a while. It was otter a while ago, I feel. Or else I would do that. It's a carnivorous mammal. Paleo Ken says cicada. Cicadas are not a placental mammal, Ken. Although you didn't know I was specifying that. Camel, that works. Smurf. Let's do camel. Camels are an even-toed ungulate, an artiodactyl. Camels are close to things like goats and pigs and whales. And sure enough, it is some kind of Laurasiatherium here. You know what? It could turn out to be a hedgehog. Because, hedgehogs are part of Laurasiatherium. Let me show you what I mean. Jump to our tree of life here. Laurasiatherium. There we go. Yeah. So Laurasiatherium is a clade of mammals that includes the carnivorans, the bats, the hedgehogs, and more. And also ungulates, hoofed mammals.
Do you think dinosaurs are put together correctly? The bones. You're smart. What do you think?
Do a research on that, Oliver.
I never...
Narvin, thank you for the follow, and welcome to Paleontologizing. It's good to have you here. Thanks for joining us. Yeah. Yeah, so our critter is a Laurasiatherium, but it's not a camel, which also tells me it's not going to be an ungulate, it's not going to be an artiodactyl. Artiodactyls are over here. They're the cloven-hoofed ungulates. You know what? It might be a hedgehog. It very well might be a hedgehog, actually. Because it's not part of this group, whatever this is. This might be Scrotifera? I'm not sure. That's the proper clade. But it could turn out to be a hedgehog. Let's try that.
Hold on to your butts.
It's not. No. Gosh darn it. Yeah. No, it's not a hedgehog, it's not a camel, but it is a Laurasiatherium. It could turn out to be a bat, I suppose. Or it could be some kind of carnivoran. You know what? Let's try that. I don't think there are very many bats that are in the database for the game. Let's try a carnivoran. Carnivorans are lions and tigers and bears, dogs and cats and walruses and sea lions, pandas and red pandas and etc. And it could be a horse, but I'm guessing it's probably going to be some kind of carnivoran. Let's see. Mongoose. Let's try a mongoose, Jody Fish. A mongoose is a type of cat-like carnivoran. It's a feliform. Let's try that. And it is a carnivoran. Ding ding. Like I thought it would be. I had a feeling about that. But yeah, carnivorans. But it's not going to be a cat-like carnivoran like a mongoose. Or else it would show us cat-like carnivorans, feliformia. And it did not. Which tells us that it's got to be a dog-like carnivoran, caniformia. So there's two major groups here. There's the arctoids, which are the bears and weasels and pinnipeds. And then there's the canids, Dogs, foxes, wolves, and more. This is a bigger clade over here. So let's try grizzly bear, like Ken said earlier. Yeah, brown bear. Let's try that. See if that gets us anywhere closer. It is part of Caeniformia, but it's not part of the bear family. So we can cross this branch off. It's not going to be one of these guys, which means it could be a pinniped. Pinnipeds are the seals, sea lions, and walrus. Let's try sea lion. Nope. Not a sea lion. Yeah. Huh. So it's not a pinniped. We know it's not a bear, and it's not a pinniped. It could be... Oh, wait. Bear, sea lion. Oh. Could be some kind of dog-like animal. A dog-like carnivoran, like a dog. Oh wait, no, it could be, yeah, it could be part of Canidae. Could be like a coyote or a fox. Could be a dog. Let's try Arctic fox. Ooh, we've got it down to the genus. Vulpes something is the Arctic fox? It's gotta be Vulpes vulpes. Red fox. It's gotta be. It's gotta be. Ding, ding, ding. That's it right there. Yeah. And streak 1 of 1. We...
Tradoon.
I think it's just straight up not even tracking these anymore, because we got it yesterday as well. Huh. But yeah, we got it. The dog doesn't run on cat systems. So, yeah. Somebody was asking, bear is dog-like? Yeah, it is part of Caeniformia, Patrick Crusader. It is one of the dog-like carnivorans. So each one of these animals is a dog-like carnivoran. Dog-like, you know? Bears are closer to dogs than bears are to cats. And that's kind of the divide here. You've got your cat-like carnivorans, Feliformia. You've got your dog-like carnivorans, Caeniformia. That's the two subgroups of carnivorans. So a walrus would be a dog-like carnivoran. A hyena, as odd as it may seem, is a cat-like carnivoran. Yeah, spotted hyena. Hyenas are actually surprisingly closely related to cats. And to mongoose as well. And yep, martens and mongoose are convergent. Exactly, Frank Big Time. Ding, ding, ding. Yes, indeed. Yeah. Convergent evolution is really cool like that. Although... the thing is, the closer you are, the easier it is to convergently evolve the same kind of features. You know? You know, it's easier for a cat-like carnivoran to evolve to look kind of like a dog, like hyenas did, than it would be for a butterfly to evolve to look like a dog. You know? They've just got very, very different starting points. The closer related you are, the easier it is to have that kind of convergent evolution that makes you look similar. And Ken says, so bears are non-canid caeniformes. This just made my day. There you go. Yeah. Yeah. We've got all kinds of descriptors like that for different groups of animals, folks. It's just, yeah, like, yeah, like Eutyrannus is a non-tyrannosaurid tyrannosauroid. Stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Tradoon.
And Alexander Morrison says Temnospondyls and Neosuchians quite convergent and very distinct in relations. Very distant? Yeah, that's true. Although they are both... they're both vaguely similar in their body plan, which makes it easier for them to evolve a similar kind of morphology. like, they've both got four legs to start off with. They've both got a tail that sweeps laterally. They've both got, you know, that kind of thing. Sprawling limbs. But yeah. And your manatee stamps just arrived. Very nice, Lenina. Cool. I hope you enjoyed it. That's awesome. Yeah. And Paleo Ken says, nice hammer on display. Thank you, Ken. I've not actually used it yet. I got it after last field season as a gift from a viewer. But I'll be bringing it out to the field this year, and we'll get it dirtied up some. It'll be good. And yeah, Claire, there's the hammer emote. It is pristine. It's kind of embarrassing how pristine it is, honestly. It still has the safety first thing on the side. Always wear safety goggles. I don't know. I try to wear sunglasses in the field. And it still has the residue on it from the sticker. But yeah, we'll break that in this summer. That'll be nice. This is my second rock hammer I've ever owned. My first one I got for my 12th birthday, and I still have it. It's my little Espling Supreme 12-ounce chisel-edged rock hammer. Product number E312PC. I was so excited about this that I memorized all the product information when I was, anticipating my 12th birthday. Yeah. He'll be here. Knocked off kilter a little bit. That's better. Yeah. Anyway. But yeah. And Bryce Ensign says, what is my favorite dinosaur? Oh, I've got multiple, Bryce Ensign. That's a tough question for a dinosaur paleontologist. It's like asking a mother of many children which one is her favorite, Although she might just say Triceratops. Yeah, I've got multiple favorite dinosaurs. It's hard to pick just one. It's kind of whichever one I'm working on at the moment, but I'm very fond of Spinosaurs. That's a group that I'm working on right now. Leptoceratops is another favorite. Triceratops. I've dug up a bunch of Leptoceratops and a bunch of Triceratops over the years, so that's, yeah. Those are favorites for sure. Oh, but another one I can show you, Bryce Henson. I'll show you. A model of it. Right here. This is Trirarchuncus. This is a little Alvarezsaur dinosaur. Actually, it's not super small for an Alvarezsaur. But these are these wonderful hook-handed, leggy, lightly built, very, very bird-like dinosaurs. This is one that I sculpted and then 3D printed. And also I published on this animal too. I'm one of the original authors on the original paper. One of the authors on the original descriptive paper for this animal. It came out in 2020. It's a pretty cool critter. Would it look something like this in life? I did not do this illustration. Someone else did, and I kind of used it as a model, but gives you a sense for what this animal might look like in life. Very small, very bird-like. Yeah. They're neat critters. They're really neat critters. And longtime viewers are well acquainted with this clip, but I'm going to show it anyway for the new folks. Our dinosaur is called Trirarchuncus. The name means Captain Hook. Trirarchuncus prairiensis, Captain Hook of the prairie, because we found a really important specimen on the American Prairie Reserve in central Montana. Jack Wilson discovered this beautiful claw of the critter in 2015. And that gave us enough morphological information combined with a bunch of other specimens that we could name it and feel good about that. It's very, very similar to a dinosaur called Mononychus. You'll meet here in this clip. Here, let me get this set up for viewing properly. There we go. Yeah.
Mononychus is a desert specialist.
This is very similar to our dinosaur.
Hypersensitive directional hearing gives her a mental map of this hollow log and what lies within.
Somebody asked insectivore earlier, and in terms of diet, probably. Yeah, not in terms of taxonomy, obviously.
She now uses the weapon that gives this hunter its name. Mononychus. Single giant claw. Just what she needs to open a termite's nest.
And they did make it look a lot like a barn owl in this series. You are correct there, Neonzo.
And she has another special piece of equipment. A flexible tongue,
yeah.
twice the length of her head. An excellent protein-packed meal, if only termites weren't quite so irritating.
Aww. Yeah, that's from Prehistoric Planet. Good stuff. Now, these guys are called alvarezsaurs. There's a whole family of these. And they've all got basically the same body plan. These long, leggy legs, extremely short but very, very robust arms, to the point where it's just ridiculous. Like, they're so incredibly weird. Why aren't these embiggening? Is that chrome extension? Oh, there we go. Yeah. They're such neat critters. They really are. Yeah. It was a mystery for a while, like what in the world these guys are doing with those stupidly short arms that they have. Like, what in the world is going on with that? Why would they evolve such ridiculously short arms? You know, what's the deal with that? And one idea that I had early on that I thought was funny, was mostly a joke, is, then when published last year, yeah, exactly, Paleostrum. Shoot, what was its name? I forget. But, I had an idea early on, mostly as a joke, that these guys would have acted kind of like, almost like a tick or something like that, where they would just like walk up to a sleeping hadrosaur and then use those claws to hook into the thigh, and then they just sit there and drink blood, and their body would inflate like a tick, and eventually they'd fall off. But again, yeah, there's no evidence that that's the case. I think the insectivore hypothesis, the idea that these guys are tearing open rotting logs and stuff like that to get to the invertebrates within, I think that's probably what they were doing. There's a lot of different aspects of their anatomy that seems to suggest that, and I hope to publish a paper on that sometime in the next couple of years. So, yeah. And Neonza says, I'm assuming these guys are related to ratites? Not ratites specifically, but birds in general, yes. The funny thing is that when these guys were first discovered, when Mononychus was first published, it was thought to have been a bird. I think I might have that, what was it, Time magazine article? Right here. Let me see if I can track that down for you. And thank you, Boxing Elephants, for that gift sub to Laser Fern.
This is their first gift
2
sub
great
in the
names.
channel.
Holy cow. Boxing Elephant, I appreciate your generosity. And Laser Fern, hope you appreciate that gift sub. Thank you, Boxing Elephant. Good stuff. Let me find this magazine article real quick.
Really spectacular, spared no expense.
Smorphosaurus gifted a tier 1 sub to Trappy Jenkins.
Thank you, Smorf.
45 gift subs in the channel.
I really appreciate that. Smorphosaurus, thank you, thank you. And Trappy, enjoy. Don't have to worry about any ads now, thanks to Smorf. Our critter Mononicus here was on the cover of Time magazine back in 1993. Good stuff. Yeah, meet Mononicus, a new link between dinosaurs and birds. So when Mononicus was first described, people like Mark Norell and Luis Chiappe thought that it legitimately was just a very dinosaur-like bird. Now we're still not totally sure, but there's a general kind of loose consensus that these animals are dinosaurs. And Dinosaur Dave.
Surfing at Wave Rock up the Hopping today. Then off to Denmark Dinosaur World later today.
Very nice, Dinosaur Dave. Enjoy. I hope you catch all the waves. And you have a good time at Denmark Dinosaur World. Sounds like it's a long ways from Australia. Oh, I'm just kidding. I'm sure that's just the name. Thank you for the 100 bits, Dinosaur Dave. I appreciate that. Rewriting the book on dinosaurs. Now let's get to Mononicus here. Where's the part about Mononicus? Thank you, Avalon Angels. Thank you for the 100 bits. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Avalon Angels. Good stuff. Yeah, here we go. Now comes Mononicus. And see, they spelled it differently here. It turned out that this spelling of the name, Mononicus, was already taken by a beetle. And so they had to change it. They changed the CH to a K in order to salvage that name. But yeah, now comes Mononicus, one of the fruits of the first Western expeditions in the Mongolian Gobi Desert in 60 years. Yeah. Mononicus may be the discovery of a lifetime. The turkey-sized predator, with its mouthful of sharp teeth and long tail, looked quite similar to the theropods. Even so, says paleontologist Mark Norell, shares a number of features with modern birds. Yeah. But yeah. Since scientists cannot really decide for sure whether Mononicus should be considered a primitive flightless bird or a dinosaur, it seems plausible that there is really no essential distinction. It was both. And that's not actually how things work. There is, it either is a bird or it's not. It's a dinosaur either way. All birds are dinosaurs. But it either is a bird or it's not. It is 100% a dinosaur. That's like,
Oh, what time, oh, what fun. Playing tag.
And Dinosaur Dave, thank you for the 100 bits.
Wave Rock is a really cool granite formation that's curved like a breaking wave, and Denmark Dinosaur World is on the south coast of West Australia. Did you forget your geography and forget where Denmark is?
There you go, Dinosaur Dave. Yeah, I forgot that all of Scandinavia is actually within Australia. Thank you for the 100 bits, Dinosaur Dave. Yeah, anyway. Mononicus is definitely a dinosaur, but is it also a bird? It's probably not. But the fact that it's so difficult to tell really says something. It all depends on what it evolved from. Did it did its group split off before the origin of birds? Or is it one branch that comes off the bird branch of the dinosaur family tree? If it comes off the bird branch, then it is a bird. If it split off before the bird branch evolved, then it's not a bird. Does that make sense? Just a second, let me put this back. But here's the thing. As far as we can tell, all birds are equally closely related to dinosaurs. Well, they are dinosaurs. But what I mean by that is that one species of dinosaur seems to have evolved into all of the birds that we have today. There was one single point of bird ancestry at some point. There kind of has to be by definition. Birds are a clade. They are a group that constitutes one ancestor and all of its descendants. And so that would mean that there has to be like a single ancestry point for all birds. So it's not like Mononychus is closer to an ostrich or anything like that. It is equally closely related to both an ostrich and a house sparrow, really. In the sense that both of these guys, well, a house sparrow, an ostrich, and Mononychus all evolved from the same ancestor if you go back far enough. Does that make sense? Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, and that is interesting, Dinosaur Dave. Variety of the color of their feet? I don't know, yeah. Huh. Anyway, there is an idea that dinosaurs like, that Deinonychus and the other dromaeosaurs, Deinonychus, Velociraptor, Utahraptor, etc., there is an idea that these animals are birds. That many of the Maniraptoran dinosaurs are secondarily flightless birds, and it's possible. We don't really know for sure. But it could be that these guys are all birds. What would have to have happened there, if they were birds, then there would have had to have been that bird ancestor that split off, and then these guys split off from that bird ancestor. In order to be a bird, they have to have had a bird ancestor, which is possible. Archaeopteryx is kind of a critically important piece to that puzzle. If you define Archaeopteryx, excuse me, if you define Archaeopteryx as the first bird, then that might mean that like Velociraptor and Deinonychus would also have to be birds if they were descended from an Archaeopteryx-like dinosaur. Does that make sense? Yeah. Last universal bird ancestor, Luba. There you go, Gojira. Yeah. But yeah. And Patrick Crusader says, how come some claim only some birds come from dinosaurs? Because they don't know what they're talking about. It's a misapprehension, a misunderstanding. Yeah. Doesn't make any sense. Like the bird guy who refused to believe that birds came from dinosaurs said later he could agree that some might have come from dinosaurs. Are you talking about like Larry Martin, Patrick Crusader? Because some of those guys, like Alan Fiducia and Larry Martin and them, they later changed their mind and said that dinosaurs like Deinonychus evolved from birds, but that they weren't dinosaurs. Like there's this parallel line of evolution from crocodile-like ancestors outside of Dinosauria that led to birds and then led to Deinonychus, you know? It's what we might call a special pleading. We're talking about logical fallacies and stuff like that. Yeah, the guy who died 10 years ago. So, yeah, Larry Martin, I think, I think he later came around to the idea that, like, Deinonychus was actually a bird and it wasn't a dinosaur. That it actually evolved from crocodile-like animals. Yeah, certainly a hot pie. I know, right, Gojira? Yeah. Yeah. And, let's see. Frozen Yak says, how are these family trees being determined? I assume DNA didn't last long enough in the fossils? You're right, Frozen Yak. One of these days, we'll do a whole stream about this concept. But there's a thing that kind of arose in the 80s called cladistics. And basically, it works by... oh, and this is great. I just saw Kevin this morning at Berkeley. This is paleontologist Kevin Padian. And, yeah. I really need to email him about doing an interview at some point, because that would be super cool. Yeah, cladistics is basically like coming up with a bunch of different characteristics for different critters. Like, you find different characteristics in their anatomy, and then you assign those different numbers. And then you put all the numbers through a computer program, and it spits out a family tree.
Evolutionary characters.
The method is called cladistics, a systematic approach to sorting out relationships based on shared characteristics.
It's been around for a while.
These animals are more closely related to each other than any of them are to the dragonfly because they all have backbones, and the dragonfly does not. These three are more closely related to each other than to the fish because they all have 4 bony limbs. And these two are closer still because only they have feathers. The results are plotted on a branching diagram called a cladogram.
Most of the features that you have are inherited from very distant ancestors. And only a few features are really unique to you. And if we wanted to find you plus your descendants...
Mr. Mushroom, we'll be talking all about Ernst Stromer von Reichenbach in May, as we talk about Spinosaurus, and we talk about the Bahariya Oasis, and we talk about the Bahariya Dinosaur Project, because a member of that team is going to be streaming with us. He's going to be digging with us, rather. He'll show up on camera in less than 2 months now. Matt Lamana from the Bahariya Dinosaur Project is going to be in the field with us. We're getting sidetracked here. We're supposed to be talking about cladistics, but Bahal, we'll talk about it in a minute. Yeah.
We have to use those unique features that arose just with you and are carried on by your descendants, and not the features that you inherited from very distant ancestors. You wouldn't want to say you're related to an ape because
it started off in
both of us have 5
insects,
fingers.
in extant insects.
Gee, so does a lizard, so does a turtle. All right? You'd want to say that we're related to the great apes because we both lack tails, and we're big.
To find the closest relative of birds, Gautier programs his computer with hundreds of characters that, in his judgment, are found in modern birds, Archaeopteryx, dinosaurs, and various...
And some creature that I used to know. Gautier, never mind. That's Jacques Gautier there. Old-timey computer. This is from 1991, Cast German. This would have been cutting-edge stuff back then.
Gautier programs his computer with hundreds of characters that, in his judgment, are found in modern birds, Archaeopteryx, dinosaurs, and various reptiles. The computer then sorts through all the evidence supplied by Gautier to determine who's most closely related to whom.
And there it is.
The computer says that Archaeopteryx's closest relative was Deinonychus, which was itself derived from other dinosaurs, and birds are the continuation of that line.
Yep.
This comes as no surprise to Gautier.
And Cast the Dreamer says, I don't know how old you are, but that computer's a year older than me. Cephalon, thank you for the 26 months of support. Holy cow.
I'm a fish. I have a pet fish. I love fish. I eat fish. And I'm interested in all extinct fish.
Very nice, Cephalon. Me? Well, that is true for me, except I don't eat fish. But apart from that, we have all those things in common. Thank you for the 26 months, Cephalim. I really appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. Do you prefer Cephalim or Cephalime? Let me know. I hear myself switching between. And, yeah. Lime like the fruit. Thank you, Cephalime. Excellent. Yeah. I'll remember that. Anyway, Cast the Dreamer says, I don't know how old you are, but that computer is a year older than me. I'm 21 years old, Cast the Dreamer, so what year would I be born if that were the case? I don't know. But we're going to go with that. Yukon's Bud, thank you for the follow. Welcome to Paleontologizing. It's good to have you here. And 03, Jody Fish, 1903 is not, I'm not that old. My goodness. Oh, 2003. That can't be right. That math cannot be correct. 2003 plus 21 does not equal 2024. Of course not. That can't be the case. Anyway, math. That is what these computers do. Gojira, and that's how you do cladistics.
Determine who's most closely related to whom.
Yeah.
And there it is.
The computer says that Archaeopteryx' closest
Morrison,
relative was Deinonychus, which was itself derived from other dinosaurs. And birds are the continuation of that line.
There we go.
This comes as no surprise to Gautier.
And we were talking about the band people, the Birds Are Not Dinosaurs people. You're about to see one of them here.
This simplest interpretation for all the evidence has always been that birds are dinosaurs.
Well, I don't have anything at all against either Cladis or cladistics. I am a little bit upset by rather dogmatic statements that are sometimes made by people that would sort of imply that because you do a cladistic analysis that you've come up with truth. Empirically, you know that's not true, because if you look at perfectly good cladists that work on the same group, they all come up with different cladograms. You know that at best only one of those cladograms can be correct.
None of the cladograms are going to be correct in like, oh, this is the truth sense. But they're all models for understanding how these animals are related to one another. And if you have a general kind of consensus that keeps coming out in different cladograms from different authors in different analyses, then you get this kind of broad consensus that forms. That's how it works. Larry Martin knew this, but, you know, he's kind of debate lording about it, you know?
Now,
I don't really do a lot of cladistics myself.
Probably has to do with how carefully people analyze and choose the characters that go into the cladograms. If you put garbage into a cladogram, you're going to get garbage out.
Look how pleased with himself he is about that. That's correct. It is the garbage in, garbage out kind of system. And by saying that, he's implying that, they're just putting garbage into this. He's wrong. But yeah. Yeah.
Well, they're welcome to their point of view, but they may have another agenda. They may not like cladistic analysis, as you pointed out. They may not want to think about birds as being dinosaurs. They may really think that birds must be more ancient and they must come from the far. I mean, there's always something that makes people, you know, there's something lying behind why people have ideas.
Martin would agree with that. He thinks dinosaur paleontologists have a strong motive to connect birds with dinosaurs.
Really didn't. This is an idea that was fought against for a long time, this idea that birds are dinosaurs. It's cool that we know that that's the case now, but it's cool because there's evidence for it. That's the thing about ideas in science, is that ideas in science aren't really like... Most scientists are not going to get really excited about a particular idea unless there is strong evidence for it. that is one of the ways that science is different from other stuff. Different from law or, I don't know, philosophy or theology or cryptozoology or UFOology or whatever. It's like, scientists generally we are trained to be cautious, conservative, guarded about the things that we accept to be true. In fact, a lot of scientists would disagree with that. They'd say, well, true, what do you mean true? Provisionally true. That's something I can get behind. An idea is provisionally true until you can demonstrate that it's false. You know, or if you've repeatedly failed to prove it false, then you might be able to consider it provisionally true. You know? So yeah. And Radar Tombsness says, dogmas are hard to cope. I mean, yeah, Radar. Welcome to Paleontologizing. It's good to have you here. Yeah. Pygmeus says, very true. Yeah. Anyway, so that's the thing, is that it's not like, oh, well, there was this idea that somebody had one day that birds are a kind of dinosaur, and then all of these scientists got really excited about it and then got carried away. That's not it at all. We've got an overwhelming preponderance of evidence that shows the ancestry of birds from dinosaurs. It's an exciting idea because we can demonstrate it, because we have strong evidence that shows it. You know?
I think that it's an enormously attractive idea. If you work on dinosaurs, and birds are closely related to dinosaurs, then we might assume that dinosaurs had avian physiology or maybe even bird feathers. So we wind up knowing a lot more about the behavior and physiology of dinosaurs than we could speculate about otherwise. If it turns out the birds are really related more closely to crocodilians, then in fact it's very difficult for us to make any speculations at all about dinosaurian physiology and behavior. So if I worked on dinosaurs, I'd certainly be attracted to the idea that birds were related to them.
And what's really funny is that he didn't work on dinosaurs. I mean, you could very easily say that this is a case of projection, where it's like, he worked on thecodontians, on like crocodile-like archosaurs, and really wanted birds to be descendant from them. You know, it's... Yeah. And Z-Hangers, oh boy, you're trolling me, right? April Fool's was yesterday, Z-Hangers. Jody Fish says, did he miss the Velociraptor feathers? No, I think Larry Martin died in 2013. Here, let's see. Yeah. March 9th, 2013. Yeah. He's been a leading opponent to the theory that birds are living dinosaurs. Later, he acknowledged a correlation and further contributed? What is this writing? Yeah. He was in a bunch of these documentaries, too. Yeah. Anyway, he studied a bunch of different fossil vertebrates. I think he studied some sort of marine reptile. He worked on saber-toothed cats for a good while. Yeah. Anyway, but by the end of his life, I think... Well, I don't know. I'm not gonna... I can't talk about his reputation. I don't know. And hello, Sweetie Pie. Welcome back. You've returned to us. There we go. How are you doing, sweetie? That's twice on today's stream you've made an appearance. How are ya? You just want some attention, huh? It's very fond of blocking that camera, aren't you? Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Z-Hanger says, if flying animals were transported to an uninhabited planet that could support them, do you think someone evolved to populate this ocean? Z-Hangers, given enough time, yeah, I can't see why not. Yeah. I don't think we've ever had... No, I take that back, we have. We have had flying animals that have adapted to life in the sea. Hesperornis is a beautiful example of that. It's happened here on Earth, where we had these lovely flightless birds. They evolved from flighted ancestors, volant ancestors. Why is this not embiggening? Let me check on this. It's our settings. Sweetie Pie is watching the cursor move across the screen. Oh, she's into it. Where are my extensions? Here we go. Hover zoom. Yeah, you watching that cursor? Can't see, sweetie pie. Can I check for updates? Sure. Extension options. Change to 0.8 seconds. And save. Okay. See if that helps at all. That's not helping. That's frustrating. Anyway, maybe Chrome just needs to restart or something. But yeah, this is an animal that evolved from flighted ancestors and evolved into a fully aquatic marine bird. So it's happened here on Earth. Pretty cool, right? Yeah. But yeah. Any pictures or movies of mice? I mean, we could come up with... Sweetie Pie really likes bird videos. Yeah. Let's try this. Thanks, Sweetie Pie. She's not really paying attention to her. Yeah. And Javasaurus, we don't really know if Hesperornis had webbed feet or not. It very well might have. It was being portrayed there as having kind of lobed feet, like a loon. Because it is very loon-like in many aspects of its anatomy. But, yeah. Oh, she likes that. There you go, sweetie pie. Yeah, good stuff. And yeah, all ancestors of modern birds could fly. They were volant. Yes, Golden. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. But yeah. Anyhow, good stuff. And wait, was... That's a European robin right there. So presumably this is somewhere in Europe. That looks like a collared dove, maybe? Yeah, Sweetie Pie grows bored of this. Well. Anywho. Yeah. Wait, was this... Are you talking about that XVC clip about him? He was asking that other dingus guy about... What was it? It's like, bro, do you believe in the Big Bang or in the... He doesn't say Pangea. He says Pangria, I think? Is that what you're referring to, Nyanza? I heard about that, and that is pretty hilarious. Yeah. Dude, yeah, it was... Wasn't he asking the sex trafficker guy? The bald guy with no chin. He used to be, isn't he a wrestler or something? I don't know. Oh, that was Aiden Ross. Oh, never mind. Okay. It's tough keeping track of all of these, influencers. He's asking about Pangea. Yeah. Anyway, good stuff. I don't know what that is, Alexander Morrison. Those goobers, exactly, Nyanza. Anywho. We've got some fossil news to discuss. Let's go ahead and get into that, shall we? We've got brand new publications. We've got a brand new stegosaur, which we talked about briefly yesterday, but now I've got hold of the paper. And we've got a brand new sauropod to talk about as well. So without further ado, let's get into... Excuse me, sweetie pie. John. Let's get into some fossil news here. There we go. Fossil news starts now. All right. Our first story on Fossil News. We have a new species of titanosaur uncovered in Uruguay. Just published as of yesterday, I believe. Paleontologists have announced the discovery of a new genus and species of saltosauroid titanosaurian dinosaur based on the fossilized remains found in the Paysandú department of Uruguay. And it's a neat choice of scale bar there that they've made. I like that. Yeah. So, this is going to be a dinosaur that's not too dissimilar, probably, Krispy Kreme, thank you for the follow. What a wonderful graph. Thank you for showing us. Good stuff. Yeah. Here, let me introduce you to our old friend Saltasaurus from La Salta in Argentina. So Saltasaurus is a kind of titanosaur, well known for having armor scutes. Like, it used to be considered one of the only armored sauropods. Nowadays, we recognize that a lot of titanosaurs had these osteoderms in their skin. Yeah, here's an old-fashioned drawing of Saltasaurus right there, with the name so you can see how it's spelled. But yeah, Saltasaurus. It's a group of dinosaurs that existed in South America during the Cretaceous period. Pretty well known, pretty widespread. This one seems to be one of those. The newly described dinosaur species roamed our planet during the late Cretaceous, over 85 million years ago. Named Udalara Titan, Celeste, the ancient giant was between 15 and 16 meters in body length, about 49 to 52 feet. The species belongs to a superfamily of titanosaurian dinosaurs called Saltasauroidea. With over 80 species mainly described in this century, titanosaurs represent the most successful and diverse sauropodomorph group. This is Dr. Matias Soto from the Universidad de Ciencias Geológicas in Uruguay and his colleagues. They were the most abundant large-bodied herbivores. Should be herbivores, I think, not herbivorous. In the late Cretaceous of the supercontinent Gondwana. In strong contrast with the ornithischian-dominated coeval faunas of Laurasia. So basically, what he's saying right here, do a little bit of translating for you, is if we jump to Earth, let's say 90 million years ago, these continents, well, let's go back a little further, actually. Let's go back to 150 million years ago, let's say. Yeah, this is Earth 150 million years ago. I'm bringing this up a little bit earlier than these fossils are to make a point. In the southern continents, the southern part of the world, you've got South America stuck next to Africa down here. You've got India, Australia, Madagascar, Antarctica, all stuck together like this. New Zealand is down there too. The southern supercontinents we call Gondwana. These all used to be stuck together, of course. Let's go back to 240 million years ago. All of Earth's continents were stuck together in one massive landmass that today we call Pangaea. But they started to break up. And by 150 million years ago, they've separated into two kind of supercontinents. You've got Gondwana in the south and Laurasia in the north. Laurasia is North America, Europe, and Asia. Gondwana, again, is South America, Africa, India, Madagascar, Australia, and Antarctica, and New Zealand. They're all stuck together down here. Gondwana in the south, Laurasia in the north. So what he said right there is that titanosaurs were the most abundant large-bodied herbivores in the late Cretaceous of the supercontinent Gondwana. Down here, titanosaurs are the biggest and kind of most important of the plant-eating dinosaurs. What did I do? Jump to 90 million years ago. And then these continents start to break up too, but still you've got titanosaurs all over Africa and South America, Antarctica, Australia, India, Madagascar. Titanosaurs are all over the place there. North America, the biggest plant-eating dinosaurs are these guys. The hadrosaurs, Hadrosauridae, the duck-billed dinosaurs, and the Ceratopsidae, especially in North America. The ceratopsids, these plant-eating horned dinosaurs. Ceratopsidae. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Does that make sense? Sweetie Pie, you're really cramping my style here. I gotta say. It's good to have you here. But we're trying to do some fossil news. We're trying to do some fossil news. You know? That's what we're trying to do. Yeah. Yeah. And Baja Spencer says no sauropods at all? There were no sauropods at all in North America for a long time. For about half of the Cretaceous, I think. Sauropods went extinct in North America, and then only later on, at the very end of the Cretaceous, do they come back in North America. You get Alamosaurus, that may have moved its way north from South America somehow, may have done some island hopping or something like that to finally get back to North America. Or maybe it came over from Asia. I'm still not totally sure. I still don't think we really understand that in detail. Yeah. Alamosaurus is this lovely, gigantic sauropod dinosaur from New Mexico. There's a lovely PNSO model of this. It is a titanosaur, just like our new Uruguayan sauropod. And, yeah, and you can see it's got these armor plates on. Probably had armor plates. I don't think we actually have direct evidence of that yet. But anyway, Alamosaurus actually was recent enough to live alongside T-Rex. And it dwarfed T-Rex in size. That's the Wonkel Rex right there, it looks like. One of my favorite Tyrannosaurus specimens, next to Alamosaurus. Now, Alamosaurus, I think... Let's see, phylogeny. Here we go. It comes out here as a sister taxon to Bauru Titan, who's from Brazil. And these are also from South America, all of these guys. Rhocosaurus, Argentina. Yeah, so Alamosaurus seems to be more closely allied with the South American titanosaurs, which means that it may have migrated north somehow. Closer to 66 million years ago. May have migrated north somehow from South America. Maybe it was able to kind of cross some islands and just kind of go island hopping until it reached the mainland or something. We don't really know. A lot of these things are still pretty mysterious, you know? Yeah. That animal must have weighed like 30 tons? No, closer to like 60 tons, Pothok. Yeah. Yeah, Alamosaurus here. Description, let's see. 2012, Thomas Holtz gave a total length of 30 meters or 98 feet, or more, and an approximate weight of 72 to 80 tons. Or more. I think they probably weighed a little bit less than that because these are, you know, they're big animals, but they'd be much more lightweight than you would imagine, just based on their pneumaticity, them having far more air in their body than you would expect, you know. So yeah, they would have weighed as much as probably like a dozen elephants, just comfortably saying. That is a lot of dinosaur Gojira, yeah. As far as we know, Alamosaurus is one of the biggest plant-eating dinosaurs to ever live in North America. Yeah. Why do they not just sink into the ground? I mean, they've got stupendously well-evolved skeletons for supporting their body weight on land. Yeah. Yeah, Sweetie Pie, you pressed the calculator button. Stop. Come here to learn about dinosaurs, Sweetie Pie? Yeah, look. Oh, where are you going? Gonna park yourself in front of the main camera again? Of course you are. Yeah. 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 But yeah, yeah. You know, there's actually a lovely video about this with David Attenborough. Here, take a look at this. With a different kind of titan. This is Patagotitan, another titanosaur from Argentina. One of these big South American titanosaurs. Just its heart. More than 6 feet around. Impressive. Holy cow. Yeah. Pretty impressive. And what's the comparison between one of these with some of our largest animals today, say blue whales? So these guys are maybe like 1/3 longer in length than a blue whale. And significantly heavier if you consider that these guys are walking around on land and blue whales are essentially weightless. I weigh more than a blue whale, you know, because they're essentially weightless. You put them on land and don't put them on land. It's not a good idea. There's some advice. Don't put a blue whale on land. Just don't do it, chat. It's not good for the whale. It's not good for you. Think about the mess you'd have to clean up. You know, don't do it. Yeah. That's the difference between weight and mass. There you go, Rocky Alters. Yes. Yeah. That ruins your weekend plans? Sorry, Tommy Plodicus. You know, if you're going to put a marine mammal on land, try a sea otter. Or maybe a sea lion. Or even a walrus. They do okay on land. Good, Jerez. I'm glad I was able to save you the trouble there. Yeah. Anyway, you're comparing Patagotitan to a blue whale. Yeah, Patagotitan's size. Let's see here. Yep. So yeah, most blue whales are around, they're lucky if they get to like 80 feet, about 25 meters. And we've got literally, I think, hundreds of measurements of different blue whales. I think the world record is like 102 feet or something for a blue whale.
So you dig up dinosaurs?
Wow.
GeoJim.
GeoGene 2006 and their 7 raiders wanna know what it's like.
Thank you for the raid. How are you doing, GeoJim? Welcome to Paleontologizing. It's good to have you here. Yeah. What were you talking about? What geological topics were you discussing today? I hope you had fun. We're supposed to be talking about this brand new Titanosaur here from Uruguay. But we're kind of going off on a tangent talking about Titanosaurs in general and how big some of them were able to get. Like this one, Patagotitan, which is known to be one of the largest of the Titanosaurs yet found. There will be a bigger one found someday, but for right now it seems like Patagotitan is one of the biggest. Patagotitan and Argentinosaurus are both enormous. Significantly larger than a blue whale. Maybe not in terms of mass, but definitely in terms of weight, given that these guys are walking around on land. And definitely in terms of length. significantly longer, and significantly taller than a blue whale. And they've got a much, much, much larger femur, thigh bone, than a blue whale does. Although, to be fair, I have a larger femur than a blue whale does. Geo Jim says we got a donation of random rocks and minerals, so just sort of sorting through the collection. Nice. Very nice. What was the coolest one you found so far, in your estimation as a geologist, Geo Jim? What was the coolest rock donated so far? Anyway, titanosaurs got big. You could say that they're the biggest animals that ever lived. On several counts, and you would be correct. Longest, tallest, probably. Heaviest on land. Yeah, anyway. When you skip leg day for a few million years, that's what happens to blue. There you go, Steely Dan, yeah. And coolest rock was a weird metamorphic composed of green chrysocolla and blue azurite, as best I could tell. Very nice, Geo. That sounds awesome. Nice. Anyway, titanosaurs. They were big critters. Big ol' heart. Oh, birds are reptiles, but he's talking to a lay audience here. I understand the distinction. That would have been a better way to put it. But your average person doesn't know what a squamate is, Salamander. Unfortunately. We'll change that someday. But yeah. Yeah, good stuff. There's a lovely documentary called Attenborough and the Giant Dinosaur. And, well, here's just part of it here. Less than a minute long, this video.
The first sauropods to appear on Earth were comparatively small creatures. This is the cast of the thigh bone of one of them. It's not even as big as my thigh bone.
I think that's probably Massospondylus, maybe?
But after about 20 million years, some had become pretty big. This is a thigh bone from one of those creatures.
Probably Plateosaurus. I'm guessing that critter is this one here. Plateosaurus. Plateosaurus. There we go. Yeah, probably this guy right here, I'm guessing. Seems about right. Yeah.
Then, after that, our giant appeared.
Holy cow.
This is its thigh bone.
Yeah. Good stuff. This used to be on Netflix, but it might be on PBS now. I'm not sure. Yeah. But yeah, you weren't ready for that reveal? I mean, yeah.
But then, after that, our giant appeared. This is its thigh bone.
Yeah. Gargantuan. That's a big ol' femur. The femur is the largest bone in the body, to be fair. Even for sauropod dinosaurs like this. But, yeah, it's the largest bone in your body as well. Your femur is. But your femur is smaller than this, I'm guessing. Yeah, and you did not miss the new stegosaur, Casey. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Yeah. But yeah. Neonza says, how can you tell it? Oh, well, when he was talking about these, kind of your I don't know, just judging by the size of this, and judging by when he says very early sauropod, I'm guessing he's talking about this critter, Massospondylus. That's a guess, though. Although Massospondylus is from after Plateosaurus. So the timing would be mixed up for these guys. So yeah, Plateosaurus. This dinosaur right here is actually from the late Triassic of Europe, Germany. Plateosaurus. But that seems about the right size for the femur for this.
But after about 20 million years, some had become pretty big. This is a thigh bone from one of those creatures.
Yeah.
But then...
And Rocky Alter says, so sauropod doesn't necessitate four-legged locomotion in dinosaurs? No, because we think that the dinosaurs like Plateosaurus were mostly bipedal. We used to have this idea that, like, oh, well, sauropods are ones that were the advanced sauropodomorphs, and then you have prosauropods before that, but it turns out it's not. They were kind of terms of convenience. Yeah, here, Plateosaurus. Check this guy out. Little babies hatching from eggs.
They are left to fend for themselves from the moment they enter the world.
Yeah. You might recognize that the narration as well in this series, Life on Our Planet. It's from the Half-Life video games. It's Morgan Freeman. Yeah. We got a lot of video game people here in the chat, I presume. But that's him.
But there are differences. This allows tiny hatchlings to grow into adults that are 50 times their size.
Yeah. Plateosaurus.
Of the reptile family tree, but are their own unique branch.
Yeah. I really like their depiction of Plateosaurus here.
Early giants, like Plateosaurus, can reach the new, taller food sources. Their stomachs can digest the tough conifer needles.
Nitrous. It's possible, Jody Fish.
And their sheer volume helps
kind of
them
an obscure
maintain
one,
a higher body temperature day and night.
Might be Ankylosaurus. No, I think I agree, Salamander.
It's a winning formula that will herald a new age.
Yeah, the age of the dinosaurs. Good stuff. Yeah. Ankylosaurus size. So there's a chance that there we go. That Ankylosaurus may have actually yielded that small femur that Attenborough showed earlier. Ankylosaurus, not a particularly large dinosaur at all. In fact, that seems about right. I bet you it was an Ankylosaurus femur that he showed in that video there.
About 20 million years. This is the cast of the thigh bone of one of them. It's not even as big as my thigh bone.
Or it could be this is Ankylosaurus and the other one right here is Lufangosaurus or something. I really don't know. Yeah. But yeah, yeah. Anyway, yeah. And Jody Fish, I'm not sure if we have a thigh bone for Antedonitrus, though. Here. No, I guess we do. But that's really robust. Different shape. Yeah. None of the femurs that we saw look like that. Yeah, different. Different. Anywho. Our new sauropod. His name is Udalara Titan. We've got this much of the skeleton. So everything highlighted in red and in green they actually have. So they've got part of the coracoid there, the upper part of a tibia and a fibula, lower part of a tibia. Kind of scrappy remains, but this is important. Like, we don't have very many dinosaurs from Uruguay. We really don't. In fact, thank you, Claire, for posting the link there. Fossils of Uruguay. Very few of these are dinosaurs. Of these names that I recognize. Udalara Titan is, obviously. Uruguayodon is a mammal. Or not a dinosaur at the very least. Antarctosaurus is from Uruguay? I didn't know that. Okay, Antarctosaurus as well. It's certainly not the first dinosaur from Uruguay, but important nonetheless. Just a new part of the world. Pretty cool. Yeah. Does that come down to geological... What do you mean, Rocky Alters? Could you rephrase your question? I'm not sure I understand. Yeah. But yeah. Oh, and Balint says that's a neat looking skeleton structure for the head. Yeah, a lot of these sauropod dinosaurs have got very kind of wispy skulls. Very lightweight, very strappy, very it's almost like they're barely there. They've got these gossamer skulls, which is part of the reason why sauropod skulls are so rare. They're because imagine, you're an animal who's got a neck that's like 20 or 30 feet long sometimes. You've got to make your head as lightweight as possible in order to just make things more efficient. One of the ways that you do that is just by reducing the amount of bone in your skull. You know, like making the bones as lightweight and strappy and thin and sometimes delicate as possible without them falling apart on you. It's like this balancing act that they're trying to do, where they've got to have the most lightweight skulls possible without having their heads cave in. But they got really good at that. I mean, sauropods were remarkably successful dinosaurs. Yeah. Yeah. And Claire Burr says, that one strikes me as having a different shape to the many other more well-known sauropods. So it's got kind of a titanosaur head shape there. Yeah. Dinosaurs like Caesidosaurus show us what titanosaur skulls could look like. Caesidosaurus. There we go. I think it might only be known from a skull? Or from most of a skull? Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So the parts in tan, not the parts in like orangish terracotta. Parts in tan, yellowish tan, show us... That's what we actually have of this. The orange-brown part is like a fill in the blanks kind of thing. You know? It does look more like a diplodocid. You're right, Weber, yeah. Yeah. But it is a Nemegdosaurid titanosaur. There's many families of titanosaur, each with multiple genera and species. I think this guy's only known from a skull, though. Yeah. There we go. But yeah. That's cool stuff. Cool stuff. Yeah. And yeah, Dr. Tao, we might go over the Apatosaurus thing, but we will be talking about, hopefully, the, that paper that, Susie Maidmont et al. Published about the, diversity of dinosaurs in the Morrison Formation. Anyway, yeah. This clade, this evolutionary family, apparently arose in South America, where it shows its greatest diversity, with records ranging from the Berriasian Valanginian to the Maastrichtian, from 145 to 72 million years ago. The entire Cretaceous period, pretty much. The fossilized material of Udalara titan, 60 vertebrae, bone fragments, and associated eggshells, was discovered in 2006 within sediments of the Guichon Formation near Carbacho in the Paysandú department, Uruguay. They must have departments rather than provinces or states in Uruguay. In Uruguay, titanosaur remains are known since the beginning of the 20th century, when 4 species were recognized based on fragmentary remains, the paleontologist said. Although such referrals have been questioned, their titanosaur identity is out of doubt, given the strong procoely of the caudal centra. So we've got strongly procoelous vertebrae in the tail. So procoelous is like, let me show you. Versus amphicoelous. Nope. Yeah. Here we go. So there's different ways to talk about vertebrae like this. What you're looking at is the vertebrae from the side. Backbones in the, we'll say in the tail in this case. Amphicoelous is like this, where they're concave on both ends. Procoelous means that the concavity is in the front, and then the back is convex. It is procoelous. This is characteristic of titanosaurs. Epistocoelous, like an Epistocoelicaudia, which is a weird titanosaur from Mongolia. You've got the convex part in the front and the concavity in the back. And then acoelous, you don't really have concavity or convexity. Does that make sense? Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, good stuff. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, so their titanosaur identity is out of doubt given the strong procoely of the caudal centra. Yeah, these findings were relevant because they allowed us to confirm the presence of Upper Cretaceous rocks in Uruguay, although in the light of recent South American findings, for instance, Ninja Titan, Zapatai, Tapuosaurus, an older age within the Cretaceous cannot be ruled out in an absence of additional data. So it sounds like they don't actually have a good handle on how old the rocks are there. They're kind of using the presence of these dinosaurs in those strata to determine the age of the rocks, which is surprising to me. I didn't know that this area was not very well explored geologically. They apparently don't have a good handle on exactly how old the rocks are there. This discovery demonstrates that at least 2 titanosaur lineages were present in late Cretaceous Uruguay: Saltasauroidea and Aeolanosauri. Or Aeolanosaurini. There we go. Udalara titan celeste represents the second sauropod taxon recognized in Uruguay, after the recently reported Aeolosaurus vertebra from the Asensio Formation, the researchers said. Its phylogenetic relations are either a saltasaurine saltasaurid or a non-saltasaurid saltasauroid. document the presence of saltosauroids in the Guichon Formation. This is again in the journal Cretaceous Research, and unfortunately, it is paywalled. So I won't be able to get access to this. But we can at least look at the abstract here. In 2006, the most complete sauropod from the country was excavated from the Guichon Formation near Araujo, Paysandú Department of Uruguay. 2006. So, like I've said many times before, it can take a long time. A long time. Not just to dig up a dinosaur, but to finally get it published. It took 18 years in this case. Oh, 17 years, almost 18. That's a long time. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I say this partly to defend myself, because there are things that I dug up back in 2012 that are still not published. Yeah. Rocky Alter says, that makes me wonder how many dusty drawers are full of new dinosaur species all over the world. A lot. There's a lot of drawers. Hopefully they're not too dusty. But yeah. 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 And Harass says, why are there no or close to zero two-legged animals with horizontally aligned bodies living today besides birds? What do you mean horizontally aligned bodies? Harass, I don't understand. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Yeah. Do you mean compressed horizontally? Yeah. Anyway, and Murph, how are you doing? It's good to have you here. Welcome, welcome, Murph. How are things today? I hope you're doing well. Like dinosaurs with horizontal spine while walking. Oh. There have been a number of other animals that have evolved that. But that's something that's kind of unique to the Archosauria, really. The crocodiles and their relatives. So we get other groups of animals that are related to dinosaurs that are not quite dinosaurs. You know, critters like we used to call ornithosuchians. Rawasuchians, I think we call them now. Pterosaurs are kind of like this to a certain extent. Things like the Silosaurids would have been like this too. Yeah. Critters like these guys. But yeah. Today, the only surviving members of this group are birds. And so that's why birds are the only ones, is because all the other ones went extinct. So yeah. Yeah. And that one pangolin species did walk on two legs? Yeah, Baja Spencer. The African giant pangolin walks on two legs, but only some of the time. And only clumsily, I suppose. Yeah. Oh, hello, Moon Pie. You want to come say hello? And hey, Alex Vixen, how are you doing? Welcome back. Yeah. Oh, ow. Your claws. Moon Pie. Yeah. How are you, Moon Pie? Good to see you. We're getting a visit from, Ms. Moon Pie here. Oh, how are you doing, Moon Pie? How are you doing? She loves that plastic plant. Good to see you, Moon Pie. Breaking me a sneeze? We'll see. Pie. You're shedding so much. I must brush you. I must. Let's get some of that fur. Estimate the body structure, not the species, because it might seem as if it was superior to others. After the asteroid, other animals would take the niche. Perhaps, well, they did. If you're talking about birds, there were numerous lineages of big ground-running predatory birds that kind of occupied some of the same niches as your big predatory theropod dinosaurs. Non-avian theropods during the Mesozoic. There. Which actually brings us into another piece of fossil news here. Oh, moon pie. Yeah. So anyway, welcome to the world. Udalara Titan. Good stuff. New dinosaur from Uruguay. But we've got this too. Giant terror birds were apex predators of Eocene period Antarctica. Eocene's not actually a period. The Eocene is a stage or an age within the Paleogene period, but it's okay, we'll let that slide. Paleontologists have unearthed 2 fossilized phalanges of an ancient carnivorous bird on Seymour Island, Antarctica. Terror birds, aka forest rakids, are these huge ground-running birds that after most of the dinosaurs went extinct, all the dinosaurs except for a handful of birds, there were several species of birds that evolved from those surviving birds who went on to... It's almost like a throwback to their big theropod carnosaur cousins. And they kind of occupied that niche, chasing down and eating mammals. Yeah, just minus the teeth. There you go, Rocky Alters, yeah. Yeah. And probably the claws on the hands and stuff, too. But yeah, the ancient bird fossils were found in the La Maceta Formation on Seymour Island in West Antarctica. These phalanges, toe bones, belong to a large giant predator, estimated to have had a body mass of around 100 kilos. So, it's like 200 pounds. 220 pounds, something like that. The Dr. Carolina Acosta Hospitaleche from the Universidad Nacional de La Plata in Argentina, and Dr. Washington Jones from Uruguay's Museo Nacional de Historia Natural. The specimens are approximately 50 million years old from the early Eocene. They belong to a type of forest rakid, commonly known as terror birds, an extinct family within the order Seriemiformes. So they're related to the modern Seriema bird. Seriemas are really cool if you're not familiar with them. And they're even cooler if you are. Take a look. So these are living birds today. Seriemas. They are pretty fast runners. And they kill their prey by kicking it to death, or by picking it up and slamming it down on the ground with their beak. And I think I can show you footage of that. Here we go.
He is.
Oh, that plastic alligator.
2 species of Seriema in their own family, the red-legged and the black-legged. And Kevin,
Trying to slam it down on that rock.
right now, they usually
Brutal.
bright orange or a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's not normal for a Seriema, normal for him. So when we got
Oh.
him, it's a really tiny little chick, and a lot of the times birds in captivity can get that above.
So anyway, imagine this bird except it weighed 200 pounds and was 7 feet tall or something like that.
To remedy that,
No one would be safe. Yeah.
they're just a little crooked now, but don't.
Wild. Yeah. And now we've got some from Antarctica. Very cool. Seriamiforms, of which the bird that I just showed you is a member of this group. It's an order of mainly terrestrial birds that exhibits a significant past diversification, but only 2 species are living today in South America. You just saw one of them in the video. Despite the rich fossil record, the phylogenetic and biogeographic relationships within this order remain poorly understood. Within the Seriamiforms, Forest-Rachidae composes the crown group, with Seriamidae, while Idiornithidae and Bathornithidae have been identified as fossil families. Okay. There's a typo in there. But take a look at that claw. Yowza. That big old blood groove in the claw, too. And it's thick. Man. The Antarctic terror birds most likely preyed on small marsupials and medium-sized ungulates. So they would have eaten small hoofed mammals. I don't know about horses, but maybe like tapirs or something like that, or I don't know. They would be active hunters that fulfilled the role of continental apex predators, apparently suboccupied by mammals in the Paleogean Antarctic communities, the researchers said. Large Forest-Rachidae-like birds represented a guild hitherto unknown to Antarctica. These findings unequivocally reshape our understanding of the dynamic of early Eocene Antarctic continental ecosystems. Pretty neat. Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. Swims with Whales says, how many dinosaurs have been found in Antarctica, do you estimate, Danny? Well, shoot, there's literally millions upon millions of them. Yeah. Today, you know, the most charismatic and well-known inhabitants of Antarctica are dinosaurs. And there's a lot of them. But you're talking about Mesozoic dinosaurs, Mesozoic non-avian dinosaurs, I presume. We've got a few. Cryolophosaurus. It's probably most people's favorite. It's a cool critter. Cryolophosaurus. Glacialosaurus is another one. From about the same time, it is a prosauropod. There's a lovely illustration by William Stout there. We've got Antarctopelta. Yeah. I don't know why these are not embiggening in the way that they should, but they should be embiggening. It's an ankylosaur. We've got, Parabator, what was it called? Yeah, and Parabator. Which is probably a dromaeosaur. Dinosaur related to like Velociraptor and Deinonychus. Critters like that. Also from Antarctica. Lovely illustration by Gabriela Guetto there. So yeah. Yeah. There's some good ones. Yeah. And... oh, and there you go, Casey Snowart. Yeah. Last patch broke the embiggenator? Maybe, HD, I'm not sure. Yeah. And Murph says, question, how did the terror birds get to Antarctica? Didn't the continents drift apart by then? South America was still connected to Antarctica by the Paleocene, I think. Yeah. Here, let's take a look. Let's jump to 66 million years ago. Yeah, as sea levels rose and fell, you would have still been able to walk from South America to Antarctica. Especially, yeah, about 50 million years ago. And also, it is from... what's the island that we were talking about here? Seymour Island in West Antarctica. Seymour Island is... There we go, right here. There have been dinosaur fossils on James Ross Island, and there is Seymour Island there. So it's basically from that tail of Antarctica right here. So at certain points, we'd have been able to walk across from South America to there. Yeah, because this would have been an island chain, and it would have been far warmer than it is today. No ice in Antarctica at the time, or at least very, very, very little ice. Yeah. But yeah. And it's roughly 35 million years ago when Antarctica was separated from South America by the Drake Passage. There you go, Alex Vixen. Yeah, and when that happened, there were it caused cooling all over the Earth. When there was when there gradually developed a gulf of water in between there. Whatever the opposite of an isthmus is. Let me look that up. What is the opposite of an isthmus? A strait. There we go. Yeah, there you go, Claire Burr. You got it. Yeah. And you too, Rocky Alters. Yes, indeed. But yeah. When that happened, it changed global temperatures dramatically. The Earth saw significant cooling after that, because suddenly water could circulate around Antarctica, and that is part of what caused Antarctica to ice over. That's why we had the grasslandification of North America too, and Eurasia. North America went from almost a subtropical, forested kind of habitat in the interior to these big, dry, temperate grasslands around that same time. Yeah, here, I might have a video about that. Yeah, we haven't seen this one before, I don't think. Let's take a look.
It's the world's most remote and isolated continent. It's home to glaciers, mountains, plants, and penguins. But today, Antarctica is noteworthy for what it doesn't have. In modern Antarctica, there aren't any trees or native terrestrial mammals, reptiles, or amphibians at all. But it wasn't always like this. Thanks to plate tectonics, Antarctica has been connected to lots of other continents at various points in deep time. As a matter of fact, before the start of the Eocene epoch, about 56 million years ago, Antarctica was still joined to both Australia and South America. And the fossil record tells us that in the early Eocene, Antarctica was a warm, forested place, very different from the continent we know today. Palm trees thrived there, as did flowering plants, dung beetles, and even a number of hoofed mammals and marsupials. And because of the way it was situated, Antarctica probably served as an important migration path for the ancestors of some of the southern hemisphere's most charismatic mammals, like wallabies and kangaroos. Eventually, of course, the lush environment of Eocene Antarctica transitioned into the cold, glacier-covered landmass that it is today, isolated from the rest of the world by the most powerful ocean currents on the planet. But it turns out that a lot of what we recognize about the southern hemisphere, including those famously unique animals of Australia, can be traced back to the time when Antarctica was green. If you could travel back in time and visit Antarctica in the Eocene epoch, the first thing you'd notice would probably be the greenery.
And this is when our terror birds were running around. This is from, they're thought to be early Eocene of Antarctica here.
Visit Antarctica in the Eocene epoch, the first thing you'd notice would probably be the greenery. Off the coast of Wilkes Land in eastern Antarctica, scientists discovered sporomorphs, fossilized pollen and spores from ancient palm trees and ferns. They've also found pollen from other plants that often live in tropical environments today. The traces of these warm weather plants can tell us a lot about what Antarctica was like back then. Since these palms and other trees can't tolerate the cold very well, paleontologists think that in the early Eocene, the coast of Wilkes Land experienced very mild winters with little to no frost. By one estimate, the mean annual temperature of that part of Antarctica was around 16 degrees Celsius, with an average winter temperature of around 11 degrees Celsius. So how could ancient Antarctica have been so warm? Well, for one thing, the Eocene wasn't the first time that Antarctica's climate was so mild. Scientists have found sporomorphs and other fossils from warm weather plants in Antarctica that date back way to the Devonian period, more than 358 million years ago. And in the early Jurassic period, about 190 million years ago, Antarctica was a temperate home for dinosaurs like the long-necked Glacialosaurus and Cryolophosaurus, a crested carnivore. In those days, Antarctica was just one small chunk of the supercontinent Gondwana, and it was located a little farther north than it is now. But by about 100 million years ago, most of the landmass that would become Antarctica had migrated to the bottom of the world.
Thank you,
By the early
Brachiodaculus.
Eocene, the western part of Antarctica had just split from the tip of South America, but the eastern part was still mostly linked to Australia. And right around this time, the world was going through a dramatic heat spike. This event is known as the Paleocene-Eocene thermal maximum, and we did a whole episode about it, because the theories about what caused it and what made it stop are really complex and fascinating, and a little scary. During this period, the global average temperature increased by 5 to 8 degrees Celsius in 220,000 years or less. And as the world's climate changed, so did its flora and fauna. Tropical trees like palms, as well as ferns and tree ferns, were able to spread onto every...
Psychoanalysis, surely the polar ecosystem would have had special adaptations to the months-long winter nights? Almost certainly. Don't call me Shirley, Psychoanalysis. Yeah. We see adaptations like that in critters like the tuatara of New Zealand, which may have actually seen its ancestry in places like Antarctica, very, very, would have been much further south back in the day. And so, yeah, stuff like the really pronounced, like, pineal light sensor thing that they have on the top center of their forehead. Probably an adaptation for that, for being able to judge like changes in the season, so they know when they've got to go hibernate, stuff like that.
Continent, including Antarctica. And mind you, Antarctica is a really big place. Like, the entire country of Australia can easily fit inside its boundaries. So given its size, it was able to support many different ecosystems in the Eocene. Farther inland and at higher elevations, sporomorphs and leaf impressions have been found from plants that are normally found in temperate rainforests, like the southern beech trees. It's also been suggested that some areas even experienced monsoons, getting more than 60% of their annual rainfall in the summer. And of course, plants didn't have the whole continent to themselves. On Seymour Island off the Antarctic Peninsula, paleontologists have recovered brood balls of ancient dung beetles. These are balls of dung that female beetles lay their eggs into. So if these beetles were rolling dung balls around, where did that poop come from? Well, some of it came from ancient marsupials.
Thank you.
Fragmentary remains and isolated teeth tell us that a number of these little mammals lived in western Antarctica. Judging by their teeth, it seems that some of them belong to the same order of marsupials as the modern colo-colo possum, a small and adorable insect eater that's native to South America. Another Antarctic marsupial was Antarctodolops. First described in 1984, this possum-like critter was the first terrestrial mammal ever discovered in the continent's fossil record.
Really?
Its ancestors most likely came over from South America. Other residents of Eocene Antarctica probably came from South America as well. For example, a single contentious toe bone suggests that xenarthrans, the group of mammals that includes modern-day sloths, might have lived in Antarctica. Xenarthrans originally evolved in South America, as did the forerunners of a herbivore that's been found in western Antarctica called Notiolophos. The teeth of this creature tell us that it was a browser, stripping twigs off of tree branches and maybe eating the occasional sapling. Not many specimens have been found, but we do know there were at least...
This is probably one of the critters that terror bird was eating, if it is from the Eocene, which I think it is. I've not been following this as closely as I could be. And Murph says, what made South America such a hotspot for new species? That's a good question. I kind of wonder whether some of these groups actually originated in Antarctica and then spread to South America, and we think it's the other way around just because South America is so much better studied. That's probably part of it, I would imagine. But I don't know. Yeah. And Casey Snort says, do we think the terror bird did the same prey thrashing behavior as the Seriema? We don't really know. Yeah. There have been ideas that terror birds would have been able to just peck their prey with, like, one giant peck. They could basically sever the spinal cord or just, like, smash the skull of their prey. And that's been suggested because there seem to be like reinforced areas of the skull of a terror bird that could withstand pressures like that, for that kind of killing blow like this. But the thing is, like, morphological characteristics that would imply, you know, that kind of emotion, it's much tougher to find, you know? Does that make sense? Yeah. But yeah. And Casey's, yeah, I mean, they very well may have done both. It's really tough to say, just given fossil evidence.
2 species of Notiolophos in Antarctica. Judging by the sizes of their teeth, the bigger of these ungulates weighed up to 230 kilograms, while its smaller cousin was about 1/4 that size. And the fact that these 2 species had such different sizes means that they might have both been specialists, eating different types of plants to avoid direct competition with each other. Another big hoofed mammal known from Eocene deposits in West Antarctica is Antarctodon, or Antarctic tooth. Scientists think that
very
it was
creative
kind
name.
of a strapothere, an unusual
We've got a mammal from Antarctica. What are we going to call it? Antarctotherium? No, that one's taken. Antarctodon. Call it Antarctodon.
group of extinct and mostly South American herbivores. The only Antarctodon fossils that have turned up so far are teeth, but more complete skeletons of other Astrapotheres show that these animals looked kind of like tapirs. Some species had self-sharpening canine teeth and ate a combination of soft plants and hard nuts. Others may have been semi-aquatic like modern-day hippos. And paleontologists think Antarctodon was yet another animal whose ancestors crossed into Antarctica from South America. So these and the other animals that shared their prehistoric habitat are extremely important to paleontologists because Antarctica's fossil record isn't as comprehensive as those on other continents, and many of the bones we do find are
Frozen Yak says, what would you name something? Danisaurus? I've got some good names squirreled away for different groups of dinosaur, if I ever get the chance to name one. We actually... When I was working with Denver Fowler and Jack Wilson in the Hell Creek, we were talking about naming a dinosaur. If we had a new dinosaur to name, naming it T-Rex, like T-E-E-R-E-X, as the genus name. Oh yeah, T-Rex montanensis, or something like that. Just because it would be incredibly confusing, but it was a joke. You know, we weren't really gonna do that. But yeah. Anyhow.
are isolated or fragmentary. Still, the coexistence of all these Eocene creatures tells us that Antarctica was home to a variety of land mammals. But why isn't that the case anymore? What happened to green Antarctica? Well, while Antarctica's land mammals were still kicking around, some pretty big changes loomed on the horizon. Scientists are still working out the timeline of events, but they think that by about 56 million years ago, Antarctica and South America had pulled away from each other. Then, by about 40 million years ago, Antarctica and Australia had become separated by an emerging seaway. This expanse of water, which still exists today, is sometimes called the Tasmanian Gateway. And at some point, another seaway formed, the Drake Passage, off the tip of the Antarctic Peninsula sometime between 36 and 23 million years ago. So as time wore on, Antarctica went from being a land bridge between South America and Australia to being an isolated continent. The stage was set for a dominant new force in the Southern Ocean, the Antarctic Circumpolar Current, or ACC. This current still swirls around Antarctica, and hands down, it's the most powerful current on Earth. Its volume is 1,000 times bigger than the Amazon River, and it chugs along at the breakneck speed of 40 centimeters per second in some locations. Propelled by winds and unimpeded by land, the swirling current blocks warmer waters farther north, keeping them away from the mainland. It also dredges cold water from the ocean floor to the surface. And those two factors work together, creating a chilling effect on Antarctica. Climatologists think that the ACC is between 41 and 23 million years old, but there's not a lot of agreement about how the formation of this current actually affected the drop in temperatures and the rise in glaciation on ancient Antarctica. What we do know is that the late Eocene and the early Oligocene was a time of global cooling. At high latitudes in both hemispheres, temperatures dropped by about 15 degrees Celsius. Around the world, atmospheric carbon dioxide was decreasing, possibly because large quantities of it were being absorbed by marine plankton or buried in ocean floor sediments. This may have contributed to the worldwide cooling trend, and the formation of the ACC could have forced temperatures in Antarctica to drop even further. Regardless, we know that from about 36.5 million years onward, glaciers became more widespread across the continent. As ice blanketed Antarctica's surface, many plant communities suffered. A study of plant fossils from the Antarctic Peninsula found that its plant diversity dropped by 47% between the late Paleocene and Middle Eocene. Slowly, warmth-loving trees and ferns found themselves replaced by temperate forests. These were dominated by southern beech trees, which we know had been living on the continent since the late Cretaceous period, based on fossilized leaf impressions and sporomorphs. And even their days were numbered. Their sporomorphs tell us that there were southern beech trees on Antarctica as recently as 2.5 million years ago. But today, it's a treeless continent, a polar desert whose remaining plants mostly consist of hardy mosses, grasses, lichens, and algae. Clearly, Antarctica's biodiversity took a hit after the Eocene, and yet life continued to flourish on its two former neighbors. After they split with Antarctica,
the beach is
South
not a
America
beach.
and Australia
Is
were
that right,
both totally isolated from the rest of the world for millions of years. And those two continents had something special in common: marsupials. New World possums originated in South America before some of them migrated north to Central and North America. Meanwhile, Australia is world famous for its charismatic marsupials, including the kangaroo, wallaby, and the now extinct thylacine. And DNA evidence suggests that the common ancestor of today's marsupials lived in South America.
And hang on, missing a few of those.
Marsupials, including the kangaroo, wallaby, and the now extinct thylacine.
I mean, let's get some love for some of our other marsupials as well. Shoot. Wombats, koalas, bilbies, for crying out loud. Right there. Did you, Chet, how many of you were here for our bilby stream on Friday? I hope you had fun with that. That was a ton of fun. And you know what? This might be a good opportunity to eat a chocolate bilby here. Rosand, Australian member of this community, sent me a lovely box all the way from Australia with some lovely chocolate bilbies, and let's get one out right now, actually. There we go. An Easter bilby. Yeah. So this is a kind of marsupial. Yeah, I guess some of you weren't here for this, so we'll do a brief refresher. Let's see here. Here we go.
Let's talk about why you should be celebrating the Easter bilby this year instead of the Easter bunny. Firstly, bilbies are ecosystem engineers and construct spiral shaped.
Yeah, here we saw this one already. Let's try. This one.
Hello, my name's Lauren, and this is the lovely Waddle, one of our female bilbies here at Currumbin Wildlife Sanctuary. And we want to let you know a little bit about the Easter bilby, seeing as Easter's coming up. So there's a movement here in Australia to support Easter bilbies, not the Easter bunny. A rabbit is an introduced animal here in Australia, and is
rabbits are no bueno in Australia.
To our environment and our animals as well. The bilby, unfortunately, is endangered here in Queensland. Their numbers could be as low as 400 left in this state. So they are definitely one to support, not the naughty little rabbits out there. So there's a few ways that you can do it. One of them is by buying the Easter bilby chocolates. These are made by Pink Lady with 30 cents going towards Save the Bilby Fund for everyone purchased. You can buy them at Target, Myer and David Jones. And another thing that we're promoting for Easter is adopting one of these lovely bilbies here at Currumbin Wildlife Sanctuary. You can do that through our website, and all the money will go towards the wonderful conservation projects that we have here.
Roseanne, I've not eaten them all. I've been very good.
Model and everyone here at Currumbin, we'd like to wish you all a happy Easter, and we hope to see you in here checking out our bilbies this holidays.
Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah, Roseanne, I still have... many of them. I've been very good about not just instantly devouring all of them. I still have this big one right here, too. Haven't eaten that. And then I've got these. Let me have another one of these. Or, you know what? Maybe I want some milk chocolate. These are very pretty. You kind of can't see because of the cellophane, but that's a really pretty one. Let's have one of these right now. Speaking of marsupials. And look at that. So well rendered. I would have made the snout a little bit more elongate, but that's okay. Easter bilby.
Ontogeny.
Very good. Make the snout snootier. There you go. There's space. Yeah. What's inside? Chocolate. Yeah. Chocolate inside. Got some paleontologist tooth marks there. Yeah. You might be right about that. Rocky Altars, yeah. Very good. It does taste just as good as it looks. Yeah, in the BC Man, yeah. And I'll be honest, it tastes a little bit better knowing that some of the proceeds from that are going toward bilby conservation. It's a big deal. That's pretty cool. So thank you again, Roseanne. Really appreciate your ongoing support. It means a great deal. Yeah. And wait, we've got a song for the Easter bilby? What is this?
Canciones para criaturas poco comunes, los animales más extraños de la Tierra y la música que ellos inspiran.
Okay.
Not a long-nosed rat, the bilby is in fact a mini marsupial. The female has a pouch which faces backwards, rather unusual. The bilby's eyes are poor at seeing far or seeing near. Fortunately for the bilby, its strength lies in its ability to hear.
All right.
Hi, welcome to Songs for Unusual Creatures. I'm your host, Michael Hurst, and today we're going to learn all about the bilby. My friends and I are also going to create our own bilby masks, which you can make at home.
Like in that movie, Donnie Darko.
And I are also going to create our own bilby masks, which you can make at home. And the
They should make an Australian version with a bilby. Call it Donnie Darko.
band will play a song that I wrote about this unusual Australian creature. We're going to make bilby masks today. Do you guys know about the bilby?
This guy's like an American John Oliver. Tony Darkar. There you go, Airspace. Yeah. Yeah.
We're going to make bilby masks today. Do you guys know about the bilby? The bilby is a nocturnal marsupial that comes from Australia. Have you know what a marsupial is?
Yes. Yeah.
So other marsupials include kangaroos,
There you go, Neverwinter. Yeah, right?
wombats.
It sounds like all marsupials come from Australia.
That's pretty close, yeah.
Yeah.
The bilby can be found in northwestern
At least
and
nowadays.
central Australia. They're nocturnal, which means they sleep during the day and are awake at night. And these big ears give them a powerful sense of hearing. They're also excellent burrowers and build their own system of tunnels to live in and move between. This helps protect them from predators. So you'll notice the mask has basically just 3 parts in the front and then a band around the back. Let me pass everybody around a mask. So what we'll do first is we're going to color in the face.
And there are the majority of aren't there like 90 species of opossum in South America too? Like there's a huge number of South American opossum species. Yeah, let's take a look. Let's go to mammals first. And then it'll just be right, just inside the front door there is well, in this little alcove we've got monotremes, therian mammals, marsupials, placental mammals, but no, we're focusing on the marsupials right now. About 300 species. I think solidly like maybe a third of those are in South America. Yeah, here we go. The shrew opossums is 5 species? Oh, opossums, there we go. 84 species. And all of these are from the New World, as far as I know. They're South American, and then you've got a couple of species from Central or North America. But yeah, opossums. 84 species. Pretty cool. Yeah. Patrick Crusader says, yeah, about a third of them live in South America. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah. Yeah. Anyway, back to American John Oliver
Face
here.
and ears. And then we'll cut out the mask, and then you can wear it.
Dark hour.
To the song.
I need black. Are there many bilbies in the U.S. in zoos?
No, in fact, we had to talk to someone in Australia because we couldn't find any bilbies in the United States. So I'm here in the land of Skype with Paul Davies, who's the senior keeper at the Nocturnal House at the Taronga Zoo. It's about 8:30 p.m. here in New York City. What time is it there in Australia?
10:20.
Wow, a.m. in the morning.
Our bilbies are now having their night as you're heading into it, so you're on the same cycle as our bilbies.
And so it's a marsupial.
Do you know what?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is a marsupial, but it's a really amazing marsupial because it has a pouch, but it doesn't have the same pouch like a kangaroo. A kangaroo has what we call a pocket pouch, but a bilby has a pouch that faces its bottom, so it faces backwards.
Very cool.
And they're just totally designed for desert living, and they're just awesome.
That backwards pouch keeps dirt from filling in when the mom is burrowing. A baby only stays in the womb for 50.
And that makes sense. If you've got, if you've got a front-facing pouch and you're digging with your front legs, that pouch is going to fill up with dirt and crud. If you have a pouch that faces backwards, then it's not going to fill up with dirt when you're digging with your front legs like that. That's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
15 days, but will stay in their mother's pouch for 70 to 80 days.
I think you're correct, Airspace. Yeah.
Nocturnal. Do they only have dinner?
That's a good question.
What do they eat?
Bilbies eat bugs and caterpillars and whatever type of insect they can find.
In fact, bilbies do not need to drink water. They get all the moisture they need from the insects, fruit seeds, and small animals that they eat.
The scientific name for a bilby is Macrotus ligotus, and apparently that means long ears, hair-like.
Look at Jesse. Wait, Michael.
Whoa, look at that. That's so good. I'm gonna make mine space age.
Yeah, can I use the tape?
Yeah, go for it.
Good, a blobfish! I think the blobfish is cute
I think it's cute too.
and rather uncomfortable. I can see Australia.
The B in B17 stands for Bilby. There you go, Claire.
Eye, then you'll see. You have a map. And then you dance.
So when it came time to make a song for the bilby, I thought maybe chords on a piano would work nicely for the sound of this creature hopping around at night.
Huh. I guess this is a series where they
maybe a
come
tuba.
songs? This is really funny.
And what would it sound like when the bilby comes out of its burrow?
It's pretty neat, you know? I appreciate the enthusiasm. And Dan D. Him, how are you doing? Welcome back. Good to have you.
And now it's daytime and they're all asleep.
Oh.
Unfortunately, while there were once millions of bilbies, this unusual creature is now endangered.
Yeah.
But people like Paul Davies are working hard to prevent that. In an effort to raise awareness for the preservation of this amazing creature, the bilby has become a popular alternative to the Easter bunny. The Easter
really like
bilby.
So now at Easter time, we don't just have chocolate rabbits and chocolate eggs. We now have chocolate bilbies. You know, make sure it's the Easter bilby that visits your home, not the Easter bunny.
Well, the Easter bilby is welcome in my house anytime.
Look out for the Easter bilby.
Well, that's all the time we have today for Songs for Unusual Creatures. Thanks so much to the Taronga Zoo, and thanks so much to all of you. Bye!
Oh, nice. Good stuff. Good stuff. Anyway, yeah. Bilby, we were talking all about that on Friday, and if you'd like to watch that stream, it's on the YouTube page. Right here. I believe Claire Burr's already uploaded that one. There we go. Yeah. For that gift sub there, I really appreciate it. Yeah, here is the paper. Right here. The predatory ecology of Deinonychus and the origin of flapping in birds. Anyway, where's the bilby part? Talking about being an egg-laying newborn marsupials. It's talking about bilbies. It's convergent upon Here's a link the to that rabbit video body there. plan. They kind of hop around. They've got these long ears. They burrow in the ground. They're Australia's answer to a rabbit. Not related to rabbits at all, but they are. They occupy the same kind of niche. You know. Pretty cool. Yeah, they are pretty cool.
Bilby.
The bilby.
Bilbies are a native species, which are believed to have lived in Australia for around 15 million years.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. Pretty cool critters. Anywho, we have also got a brand new stegosaur to discuss. So, oh, wait. Let's finish out this video. Well, no, it's fine. Let's talk about our new stegosaur. I haven't seen a lot of press about this yet, but I was able to snag the paper today when I was in Berkeley. Or at least a, oh, and shoot, the flash drive is upstairs. But you know what, before we do that, Brachydactylus has sent me the actual paper for our new Uruguayan Titanosaur. So let's take a look at that real quick. It was a pre-proof, but there we go. Here is the paper for that new Titanosaur. This is kind of unformatted, where it's not formatted in the, you know, in the way that the final paper will be. It's missing some of the figures and stuff, but cool to have. Thank you, Rachadactylus, for sending this. Good stuff. And they were doing some cladogenetic analysis here, creating some cladograms. Phylogenetic analysis, trying to figure out where this critter belongs on the sauropod family tree. And, yeah, neat stuff. Yeah, just the preprint version, yeah. And figures are all the way at the end. Oh, good. I didn't realize we had figures there. Sometimes preprints don't have the figures at the end. So it's nice that this one does. Lovely. So yeah, that is where our critter is from there. And they're putting it right here next to Pellegrinosaurus. Interesting. And Saltosauroidea. Neat stuff. Very neat stuff. This is cool. Yeah. Yeah. And of course, we've got this new stegosaur, which is published by a friend of mine just the other day. I think it was Saturday or Sunday this was published. Pyrrheosaurus is our new stegosaur. Again, some of you were here for this original live stream where we met the author of this paper. He is right here. This is Omar Zafati. So this is, we were doing a special live stream before I left for the field back in June, and we were putting together a bunch of sandwiches, making sandwiches for a field conference that we were leaving for the day after this. I was driving one of the vans. It was a little bit nerve-wracking driving a van full of, 15 other paleontologists. Yeah, there's some big names in that van. I had to make sure I drove very carefully, very safely. But Omar was presenting work on his new stegosaur at this conference. I think it's the first time it was really presented anywhere outside of Morocco. And this is Omar's first time outside of Morocco.
Would you like to introduce yourself? Say hello to everybody real quick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello. It's Omar from Morocco, from North Africa, and I'm here to participate in a conference about Mesozoic ecosystems, and I will participate with an oral presentation here, and I'm so happy to be here and to
How tall is he? He's got to be a solid, probably 5 feet tall. I'm, of course, only 3 feet tall, No, Omar's probably 6'2" or something like that. Yeah. And it was a van with a lot of variety. Yeah, Ken, you were in my van too, weren't you? I think, right? Yeah. Ken would say 6'4". Wow. Okay. Yeah. And yeah. Anyway, good stuff.
I'm so happy and so glad to be here in Salt Lake City and in the USA.
This is Omar's first time in the United States, so please everyone say welcome to Omar, and people are already saying hello to you there.
Yeah. Anywho. Yeah. No, famously, I'm only 2.5 feet tall. Yeah, excuse me. How are you doing? Welcome to you too. Oh, welcome, excuse me. It's good to have you back. But yeah, Omar has just published this critter, Thyreosaurus here. New kind of stegosaur from Morocco. And we're already going to have some, not Tyrannosaurus, Thyreosaurus Google images. There are already some depictions of this animal from different artists. It's got some weird-looking plates. Really bizarre. And here is Jim on the old Twitter, tweeting about this the other day. He says, our friend Omar Zafati's team reports, led by Moroccan scientists, North African stegosaur remains dating back to the mid-Jurassic, about 165 million years ago, so before Stegosaurus itself, were diagnosed as a new species named Thyreosaurus atlasicus. Presumably the Atlas Mountains of Morocco. The first with reclining plates. Some of you remember this old idea that stegosaurs had plates that laid flat. That's actually where the name stegosaur comes from. Stegosaurus means roof lizard, because when Othniel Charles Marsh was first describing these animals back in the 1870s, I think it was, he assumed that those plates must lie flat over the animal's back like a roof. So that's where the name Stegosaurus comes from. It means a roof lizard. Now we recognize the plates were actually upright, but this one's got some extremely weird-looking plates that are, like, weirdly concave. And, it may have actually had plates that were, like, flat against its back. Interesting stuff. There's Omar right there, looking very calm and collected while holding one of the dorsal vertebrae of this animal. Stegosaurs have these really elongate dorsal vertebrae, really long centrum. Just, something about stegosaurs is like they want to look tall, I guess. Right down to their back vertebrae. They're stretched out like this. Here's a quarry map. And look at, just beautiful territory there in Morocco. Holy cow. It's no wonder you find good fossils in a place like this. It's no wonder so many people from around the world want to go to Morocco to dig up dinosaurs and other fossils. Just beautiful territory.
The wingspan of this flying monster would have been about 15.5 meters.
Basil, thank you for the 15 months of support. I appreciate that. How are you doing? It's good to have you here. Yeah, and Moroccan food is very good. I agree, Rocky Alters, yeah. Let's see, here's a phylogeny here from the paper, I believe. I don't know if I'm going to have this figure because I only have the preprint. But yeah, they're saying it's close to Adruticlet and Dacentrurus right here. So, kind of close to Kentrosaurus too. Yeah, although Kentrosaurus might be earlier diverging. This is again what we call a cladogram. We were talking about this earlier. When you score all of the different anatomical characteristics, you assign them numbers, you put those numbers into a computer, it spits out a family tree like this. This is standard practice when you're describing a new dinosaur. Usually, most journals might more or less require that you put a cladogram in there, that you do a phylogenetic analysis like this. You know? Yeah. Anywho. Cool. Right next to Dacentrurus, perhaps? Stegosaurs as a group are not very well known. Like, they're not super well understood. Stegosaurus and Kentrosaurus are the most complete stegosaurs that are currently known, if I recall correctly. I don't think we have complete skeletons of any other stegosaurs around the world.
We all know. If it hadn't been for that great dinosaur who saved us from the American forces, we would all be dead.
Is that true, Lestat Creations? What a grim story. Thank you for the 8 months, and I'm glad you're still here. Thank you for the 8 months of support. I really appreciate it. Good stuff. Good stuff. And Rock Yelters, yes, so Stegosauria is the whole group. And Stegosaurus is just one genus within that group. So I don't know why these are not embiggening like they should. But, oh, there we go. Yeah, Stegosauria. You've got all of these different stegosaurs like this. From North America, from Africa, from Europe, from Asia. Possibly from Australia, too. We've got possible footprints from a stegosaur from Australia. No body fossils yet, to my knowledge. No stegosaurs found in Antarctica yet, and none from South America yet, I don't think. But apart from that, they're from all Earth's continents. North America, Asia, Europe, and Africa. We've got good stegosaur material from all 4 of those continents. And Stegosaurus is just the most well-known and probably the largest of the stegosaurs, although also there's that British stegosaur that's it's pretty big also. Is that Decentruris? I forget. Anyway, if you want to be brought up to date on stegosaurs, you could do it in about an hour with this talk here from one of the world experts on stegosaurs, Susie Maidmont.
Hi everyone.
So
I'm just going to share.
she is maybe the only person in the world who studies stegosaurs and specializes in this group. I can't think of another researcher off the top of my head who specializes in stegosaurs to the extent that Susie Maidmont does. So you could make a strong argument that she is the world authority on stegosaurs. Yeah, and here is her giving a talk just 2 years ago. This is pretty recent.
My screen with everyone. So hopefully you can see that now. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you today
We're not going to watch
a
the
little
whole
bit
thing,
about the
obviously.
research that I've been doing really over the past 15 years on stegosaurian dinosaurs. Apologies, my computer is being a little slow. And I can't even blame it being the morning because here in Sussex, it is the afternoon. Anyway, there we go. Slide 1. So the stegosaurs. The stegosaurs are a really, I guess they're a really iconic group of dinosaurs. I mean, every 7-year-old in the world knows what Stegosaurus is.
Yep.
I think,
But they're still mysterious.
Actually, perhaps unexpectedly, there are a whole range of different stegosaurs out there. So they are known from all around the world. From
South America too? Who is this? Who is that right there? I didn't know we had South American stegosaurs. Shoot. Our new stegosaur that we're talking about right now, that Omar published, is basically from right there, from Morocco.
all the places where they've been found are shown by these red dots. So they're known from across Europe. There's a couple of...
These plant eaters or herbivores had as many as 2,000 teeth in their jaws at one time.
That's a lot of teeth,
Proud
Trek
to
Nerd.
support important science outreach.
Thank you for that 39 months, Trek Nerd. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for supporting science outreach, and I'm glad you feel it's important. That means a lot to me. Appreciate you, Trek Nerd. I appreciate you.
Species from the UK, across Spain and Portugal, in France. They've also been found in China. There's
Mongolia too.
I'm going to talk about one of those in a bit more detail later on, and also in North America. And there is probably a stegosaur from Argentina as well.
Really? So she said probably with regard to this one here. This is what I am surprised to hear.
Really widely distributed. And they are most closely related to ankylosaurs.
And Frozen Yak says dinosaur dentists must have made a fortune with all those teeth. That's the thing, is that dinosaurs wouldn't have really needed dentists because their teeth would just fall out and regrow all the time. They had a constant conveyor belt of teeth all the time. Why did she choose this really... it's a lousy ankylosaur illustration. That's garbage. There's dog water right here. Why did she pick that one? Ugh. Anyway, yeah, dinosaurs would have had as long as they're alive, they're producing new teeth every year. Yeah.
I don't know whether you can see my cursor when I'm screen sharing, but the middle dinosaur here is an ankylosaur. These are kind of small armored tank-like animals.
You know what this reminds me of? This particular one reminds me of yeah.
Mamma e papà hanno un nuovo bebè, non se ne sanno più niente di te. Sì, come puoi dire una cosa simile? La maggior parte di noi ha fratelli o sorelle.
That's what this looks like. There's so many good illustrations of ankylosaurs. Why go with that one? I don't get it. I don't get it.
They're kind of like walking coffee tables. And they are most closely related to stegosaurs. Now, the ankylosaurs and the stegosaurs kind of had an interesting relationship because what I'm showing here is along the bottom, I've got millions of years before present, and up the side, I've got the number of genera, so the number of different types that we know. And what you can see is the black line shows sort of stegosaur diversity through time, whereas the grey line shows ankylosaur diversity. And
there's
as
ankylosaurs here.
Are closely related. And they both must have evolved at some point in the early to early middle Jurassic. And you can see that stegosaurs reach the peak of their diversity at the end of the Jurassic period. And this is when they're most famously known from about 150 million years ago. The ankylosaurs, however, are really rare throughout the Jurassic. And they don't really get going until the Cretaceous. And you can see that grey line kind of shoots up as we go into the Cretaceous. There's a big dip in the middle there, but that's probably just a sampling wire. So it probably just continued to shoot up right the way.
Anyway, really interesting animals, stegosaurs. And let's see, leg muscles, plates and spines of Stegosaurus. Yeah, anyhow. Should you do like a survey of different stegosaurs?
Plates along the back. We've got a leg bone here, but in the middle there's a whole load of bony mush. And it's really, really, really difficult to kind of tease apart the different bones to understand what they look like, how they might have fitted together. And lots and lots of these
hey, Dr. Irrefutable, welcome.
These stegosaur specimens that we have really are like this. And that has made it really, really, really difficult to even just understand kind of basic things about their anatomy.
So anyway, stegosaurs they're still kind of mysterious in a lot of ways. Here's a link to that video if you want to get up to date on stegosaurs. That is an excellent way to do it. Yeah. With our new critter, we've got a bunch of different depictions of it. It's got some weird plates on the back. This is actually not a bad depiction of it there. There's something weird going on with this animal. With those plates. Just bizarre. This one makes it look a lot like Kentrosaurus. Or maybe Lixavosaurus or something. But PaleoStream here on Twitch has done this marvelous illustration of it. This is the best illustration that I've seen of this animal so far, bar none. This is excellent. This is excellent. It kind of captures like the weird concavity that Omar was describing to me about the plates, and just so weird, you know? Yeah. But gorgeously well rendered. Yeah. Rain troughs for the birds, says Claire. I mean, presumably these would have been brightly colored or something. But I don't know. What a weird, cool animal. What a weird, cool animal. Yeah. Thyreosaurus, ladies and gentlemen. I wonder if Omar would be able to come on and talk about this animal with us if we were to do an interview at some point. What time zone is Morocco in? Yeah, and oh, Greenwich Mean Time. Okay, so it's midnight there right now, basically. We'll have to see. We'll have to see, because that would be pretty cool to be able to talk to the man himself about the dinosaur that he helped describe, the dinosaur that he's first author on that description paper of. We'll see about that. Yeah. So yeah, we've covered our new stegosaur, our new titanosaur. We talked about the that Eocene terror bird from Antarctica. Now let's take a look at a new paper by Susie Maidmont. She's again our...
Now that is until in about 2000.
Our stegosaur expert here. She's just published a new paper as of today, I think. Maybe it was this morning it was published. In the Journal of Vertebrate Paleontology, which is our in-house journal for SVP, the Society of Vertebrate Paleontology. What I'm going to do is log in here and see if I can access the paper through the site. Log in, JVP Online Access. All right.
Access granted.
Excellent. Mm-hmm. That's funny. The website doesn't seem to have updated yet. I'll try and get to it through Twitter. There we go. Here is Susie Maidmont's Twitter here. And there it is. Diversity through time and space in the Upper Jurassic Morrison Formation, Western USA. So the Morrison Formation. You are familiar with this even if you don't think that you are. You know some of the dinosaurs from the Morrison Formation. The Morrison Formation sprawls across Utah and Colorado, Wyoming and Montana, and even South Dakota. Dinosaurs like Allosaurus, Apatosaurus, Diplodocus and Barosaurus, Camptosaurus and Ceratosaurus and Stegosaurus are all from the Morrison Formation. This is one of the best known, most well-studied...
Survived in the dinosaur age of mighty monsters.
Wonderful World of Ozzy, thank you for the raid. How are you doing? Welcome to Paleontologizing. It's good to have you here. How was your stream? We were just about to talk about dinosaurs of the Morrison Formation. If you've ever been to Dinosaur National Monument, those are dinosaurs from the Morrison.
Something about how the world was 80 million years ago, which is
Yo, Mama, thank you for the follow. Welcome to Paleontologizing. It's good to have you here. Yeah, good stuff. Anyway, here you've got Stegosaurus and Allosaurus and what looks like Diplodocus here in the background. Yeah. These are all dinosaurs from the Morrison Formation. Let me find a clip of Jim Kirkland talking about the Morrison from here in When Dinosaurs Roamed America. Let's see. There we go. I've done some live streams from here at Dinosaur National Monument before. Yeah. Yep. Hmm. Yep, and that, of course, is Jim Kirkland, and I'm going to be digging with Jim in July and August of this year, it looks like. Really excited about that, just like I was doing last year in Utah. So Jim is the state paleontologist for the entire state of Utah here in the U.S. So yeah, Papa Jim, exactly, Claire Burr, yeah. Uncle Don and Papa Jim. Yeah, this would have been in like 2000, 2001, Neverwinter, yeah. Yeah. That's the Morrison Formation. And let me find my stream with... some of my streams with Jim from this past summer. On the one where we're... yeah, field interview. Here we go.
They're all getting reworked.
So this is why you say we need some paleobotanists out here. There's plant material galore.
And you look at, like this.
Uh-huh.
The top, these are probably roots of something and pressed into the peat.
Right.
But you see the bedding.
Uh-huh.
This was just pure plant material. Just layers of fern leaves and rootlets and things. Deposits of pure organic carbon. If it was wet, it would turn to coal, with compaction.
Yeah.
But because of this super saturation of silica from the Jurassic, it alters to peat.
Yeah. Anyway, we were working in the Cedar Mountain Formation there, and will be again this year, hopefully. That is just above the Morrison Formation in Utah. Here. In Utah, we've got over 115 dinosaur species in 27 sequential fauna levels. So there's 27 different time horizons in Utah that have dinosaur fossils in them. 27. It's amazing. More than anywhere else in the U.S., it seems. Almost more than anywhere else in the world, given... for an equivalent space, like an equivalent... If you were to take a Utah-shaped shape and put it over any place in the world, I don't know if anywhere else would have this wealth of dinosaur fossils like this. All of these different sequential levels. I think a lot of people don't realize that, a lot of people in the general public don't understand that the age of dinosaurs is not just one little time. Like, oh, all the dinosaurs are running around land before time style. it was the dinosaur time. No. Dinosaurs were on Earth for like 160, 170 million years. And they're constantly evolving and changing. There's this constantly shifting cast of characters. There's like multiple different dynasties of dinosaurs, you can think of it as. And that's what we see here in Utah. That's why I pulled this up. The Morrison Formation is what we're talking about here with this new paper. You've got dinosaurs, like I said, like Allosaurus, like Camarasaurus, Dryosaurus, Diplodocus, Apatosaurus, Stegosaurus. All these dinosaurs from the Morrison Formation. After the Morrison, you have the Cedar Mountain Formation. And this summer, hopefully, fingers crossed again, I'll be working in the very bottom of the Cedar Mountain Formation. Like you saw in that clip with Jim. Me and him talking there. We're at the very bottom of the Cedar Mountain Formation there. Just after this extinction event. When a lot of these Morrison dinosaurs go extinct. Now, here we go. Full access. Journal homepage. Yep. I guess let me copy this and go through the SVP site. They should have this immediately available. I'm a member of this society. I have journal access. Hopefully they haven't just failed to update the journal page. Paleo.org. Member login. Online access. They just not have it yet? Nope, here it is. Good. Yeah. View PDF. Bingo.
Access granted.
Yeah. Good stuff. Diversity through time and space. On the Upper Jurassic Morrison Formation, Western USA. And Cece Maidmont's the only author of the paper. A sole authorship paper. You don't see that very often nowadays. Yeah. And Sam, wasn't it? I'll see you next time. Thanks for being here. Yeah. So let's look at the abstract. By the way, I think it's really important to be able to show people what a scientific paper looks like. You know, you sometimes hear on the news about, oh, scientists have published a new study that says this or that, blah, blah, blah. How many times do you actually get to see the scientific study, though? How many times do you actually get to see the new publication? Well, I think it's important to show this. Trying to demystify it a little bit, you know? Yeah. So yeah. And excuse me, wait. My little niece will be obsessed. Oh, okay, yeah. So the abstract is basically like a short summary of the paper here. As a scientist, you're not going to be reading too many full papers every day. What you're going to be doing is reading a bunch of abstracts. This gives you kind of the basic gist of the paper, and if it sounds interesting to you, or if you're curious about it, then you read the whole paper. This is kind of like watching a trailer to a movie to figure out if you want to watch the whole movie, you know? Except unlike a movie trailer, this also gives away the ending. It's full of spoilers. So the abstract here goes, understanding how biodiversity has changed through time and space is a central aim of paleobiology. No lies detected. To elucidate accurate biodiversity patterns in deep time, regional case studies where sampling biases can be minimized are needed. Agreed. The Upper Jurassic Morrison Formation of the Western USA crops out over 1.2 million square kilometers and covers 12 degrees of latitude. It was deposited over about a 9 million year time period and was home to some of the most iconic dinosaurs. utilizing a new high-resolution chronostratigraphic framework for the formation. Tetrapod occurrences, tetrapods are land-living vertebrate animals, from the paleobiology database were temporally and spatially mapped to examine patterns of diversity change through time and space, and the geographic ranges of taxa were examined to shed light on niche partitioning. Niche partitioning is like when different critters are doing different jobs in their ecosystem, you know? You'll have, like in, a good example of niche partitioning is like, on the African Serengeti. You've got 3 different big cat species. Let me just search African big cat. African big cat.
Ontogeny.
Well, shoot, you've got a bunch of different big cats, I suppose. Yeah. Here we go. Lions and cheetahs and leopards are really the biggest of the big cats in Africa, and this is a good example of niche partitioning. So these different cats are doing different things. They are living in a different part of the habitat, they're eating different prey, they've got a different lifestyle. Excuse me. Lions are kind of like big game specialists. They're taking down zebras, Cape buffalo if they can get them, wildebeest, kind of whatever. And they're highly social. The female lions hunt in big groups. Cheetahs, on the other hand, are fast pursuit predators. They're eating fast-running animals like Thompson's gazelle. And they're running down their prey. They are active pursuit predators. Leopards are kind of more stealth predators. They're sneaking up on prey at night. They're kind of generalists. They'll eat whatever they can catch. But they're hanging out in trees during the day, and then they come down later at night, and they hunt in the darkness. Lions will also hunt in darkness as well, but they've got a different kind of hunting style than leopards. So I bring this up because we're talking about niche partitioning here. You've got different creatures that have got a similar kind of body plan, and they're all big cats, but they've partitioned themselves into different niches. They're doing different jobs in the same ecosystem, in the same place, and the same time, obviously, because they're all alive today. So yeah. And then you've got other species of cats that are doing other things throughout Africa as well. They've, been developed to exploit different niches. They've evolved specializations that allow them to have kind of a different lifestyle, each one of these. They've each got a different job, Yeah. So that's niche partitioning. If we want to figure this out for dinosaurs, then you have to actually understand who is living where and at what time, and are these animals actually living at the same time and place, or are they not? These are the basic things that you have to understand if you want to really gain a good picture. If you want to gain a good understanding of what this ancient ecosystem looks like, and which different jobs these dinosaurs are doing in their ecosystem. Latitudinally, diversity was found to peak in the center of the basin, perhaps due to the availability of water resources. Diversity increased over time in the Morrison Formation, and there is no evidence to indicate a decline in diversity prior to the extinction of the fauna at the end of the Jurassic. There appears to be some degree of geographic separation of faunas in the Morrison Basin, with a southeastern and northwestern fauna, albeit with a number of overlapping taxa. So different dinosaurs are going to be living in different parts of the Morrison Formation, latitudinally, north and south. But there is definitely some overlap there. It's not like it's just discrete lines, High-resolution climate models paired with detailed sedimentological analysis could help to elucidate the drivers of the patterns observed here. So this sounds really cool. Subsample diversity, temporal diversity. I've long suspected that some of the dinosaurs that everybody thinks are distinct from the Morrison Formation might actually be just adults and juveniles of the same species. And I wonder if any of those talk about any of those here. Yeah. Okay. Now, this is consistent with some of my suspicions. Some of this stuff. Yeah. I've had this hunch for a while. And, like we were talking about yesterday with falsification, this study does not falsify this hunch that I had about several of these dinosaurs actually being the same thing. Yes. Huh. Very cool. I can't wait to read this front to back. This is neat. This is really neat. And this is cool. We've got Allosaurus jamadsoni up here and Allosaurus fragilis down here. Allosaurus jamadsoni, I think, is thought to be maybe ancestral to Allosaurus fragilis by some people. Yeah. I don't know. I'm excited to hear what Jim has to say about this paper as well. Yeah. Very cool. Spatial niche partitioning. Oh, this is good stuff. Oh, this is good stuff. I'm excited for this. Here's a link right here, but you're not going to be able to access this, excuse me, unless you have access to this journal. I do, because I'm a member of this scientific society. The Society of Vertebrate Paleontology. And, Curte's Flush says, I followed the trail of dinosaur emotes and ended up in this stream. Curte's, it's good to have you here. I hope you stick around. It's good to know that those dinosaur emotes find their way across Twitch, draw people in. Yeah. That's how you found your way here too, Lenina? That's awesome. So long ago, I don't even remember. Yeah. Good stuff. And Moon Pie, how are you doing? You want to come say hello again? Hi. Come here. But yeah, this is neat stuff. I'm excited to read this whole thing. And, really kind of get into it. Oh, excellent. I've got to figure out what exactly I want to present at SVP this year. Yeah. But maybe it'll be this, the project that this has bearing on. We'll have to see. Hey, Moon Pie. I'm gonna pretend like I don't see you. Oh, there you go, and that'll draw you right in. Moon Pie. Oh, camera's frozen. Hang on. There we go. Yeah. Oh, Moon Pie. Look at all this stuff on the desk for you to rub your face on. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, right on the camera. Yeah. Oh, Moon Pie. Oh. Yeah. And Rhacodactylus. No, we haven't even actually had a submission deadline for the abstract yet, which is weird because it's April already. Usually the abstract deadline is like end of April, but I haven't heard anything about that this year. It's bizarre. But yeah. Always good to see a cat being a cat. Oh yeah. And knocking things off the desk. Hi. Knocked my light down. I need to 3D print some holders for these lights. because I'm sure they can only take a finite number of knocks before they break. And those were... I don't want to break those.
Once we knew only that they vanished. Now we know the dinosaurs ruled the land longer than any creature before them or since.
Vedator, thank you so much.
Vedator_CZ and their 21 raiders want to know more than that.
Welcome back to Paleontologizing, Vedator. It's good to have you here. And Moonpie thanks you for the raid as well, huh, Moonpie? Cat collision. Cat collision. Vedator, how was your stream? I hope it was really good. Welcome back. And, oh, I'll see you later, Moonpie. Yeah. Tell me what you got up to. Looks like you were doing some just chatting. Excellent. I hope you had a lot of fun with that. Yeah. Yeah. We were just talking about the Morrison Formation. I've done a little bit of digging in the Morrison. A lot more in the Cedar Mountain and other geological formations throughout Utah and Wyoming. But some of your favorite dinosaurs are from the Morrison Formation. Let me see if I can find you a decent graphical representation of this. You'd think it would be really easy to just... It's like, oh, here's a cast of characters from the Morrison, but... Yeah. Huh. Like a really nice ensemble image of Morrison dinosaurs is hard to come by. This is okay. Yeah, different dinosaurs of the Morrison. We've got who? Torvosaurus there, Dryosaurus, Hesperonychus, I think, Stegosaurus. That might be supposed to be Hesperosaurus. I can't really tell. Ceratosaurus, Brachiosaurus. Yeah. Anyway. And elevation science has been thinking in the Morrison. Who's elevation science? Are they one of those, like, pay-to-dig groups? Yeah. Anyway. I'm excited for this new paper. Gonna download that right here. Get that done. Good. And I will be reading this after stream today. Excellent. Yeah. And with that said, it's about time for me to wrap this up, I think. I've got some stuff I got to take care of tonight. I got to read this paper for one. And I've got to get ready for the crossover stream with Balint tomorrow. I got to find some scientific papers for Balint and me to discuss. So let's go ahead and wrap this up for now. Here is a Deinonychus to run our credits over. Don't go away. We are going to go raid into somebody else doing some science here on Twitch, hopefully. Let's see who's on right now. Oh, you know what? You know who's on right now? Is Claire Burr. We are going to go raid into Claire Burr. Yeah. Some of you might not even be aware that Claire Burr streams here on Twitch. So let's go show her some love as she has done to us. And subscribe if you want to get some good emotes there. And apparently it's my 19th sub anniversary, so yeah. Let's go say hello to Claire Burr. Thank you to everybody being named and not named and shamed, named and honored in our credits here. Moderators and raiders, followers and subscribers, gifters and cheerers like you.
For another great stream.
CT, thank you for the 200 bits. I appreciate that very much. Thank you, thank you. And we're gonna go Show Claire Burr some love. Everybody, thank you for making this another fun one. I'll be back tomorrow, and we are going to be talking about fossils of aquatic animals tomorrow for World Aquatic Animal Day. That's going to be a lot of fun. So I hope you'll tune in for that. But right now, let's go say hello to Claire Burr. All right. See you there, everybody. Let's do it.